like that. Ah! Well, I'd like to say we're being professional, but fuck it. I was going to go with that camera. That camera works well, but let's try that one. Hello to everybody on Jim's stream. I obviously you want to get some decent content, so here we are. Anyway, right.
Well, Paris ain't giving any decence. It just gets there and cools down again.
Can you tell you can hear bass perfectly, and he can hear you now, and that's excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Pat, say hello.
Hello.
Right, Matt.
Hello. This is Winston or Uncle Matt.
My boss.
Hello.
Oh, thanks for the input. Right, anyway, so right, what we're going to do, we're going to change things up a bit, right? It's really weird talking to that camera, but whatever. We're going to let Pat go first while I drink to excess, because at the moment I'm feeling a touch flat. So we've got Pap's number that's scrolling across the screen. If you want to call in to Pap, for anybody who's unsure or doesn't know what's going on, great, nor do we. However, this is the weekend streaming where we get actual other YouTubers around, and we have the crack and we drink to excess and have a laugh. Now, Pap's actually fairly sober, and he's probably got stuff he can talk about there. So I thought we'll hand it over to him, and then in a bit, well, he'll take some calls, and then after that, I'll take some calls. Then after that, we'll probably be well oiled, and we can just really take the piss amongst ourselves, and then maybe take some more calls. Who knows? And we do have, hopefully with a bit of luck, Rumble going. So if it goes really badly later on, base,
They'll get it spicy and rumble.
yes,
Very spicy.
yes,
Just to make it clear that we've not actually tested this phone in through
at all.
through the setup yet. So if anybody wants to try and give us a ring on the number on the screen,
Actually,
normal,
Roger, give him a call, mate. Any chance?
just to make sure that this is set up through the Bluetooth properly and we can all hear you. So if anybody wants to phone up, Scott, give us a quick ring so I can wish you happy birthday. There we go.
Yeah, make an effort. Give him a call. It'd be lovely. Sorry.
Yeah, anyway, I was going to stitch bass that with that earlier on, but he just sounded like some fucking drug dealer out the valley, so it didn't work. There you go. Yeah, if any of you were looking for some serious content, sorry, can't help you. Other than that, we do have news stories, and I saw that.
I'm not on camera, so I don't need to put
That
any.
can be fucking changed.
Unless we want to just...
Oh, look, you are on fucking camera. There you go.
There he is.
Right. One thing I will say, you're up there now, is that the only thing we didn't get organised, or well, I didn't get organised, is 500 quid, is there's a thing that goes in the back of the computer, and that's where you can get all these different cameras working at the same time on a screen. It's 500 quid. Sorry, love. Anyway, there it is. Let me know which camera view you like. Right. This is number one.
Nicky will like this one.
Of course you will. It's on you. That...
0151 528 595.
yeah, sorry.
Oh,
I think. No,
there we go.
959.
That's number two.
0151 528 9590.
Oh, God.
I thought it was a lottery numbers.
Yeah, we'll fuck that off. Right. So
That's white, that is. That's too white, that one.
I'm up for that one myself. 'Cause
Matt's highlight.
Yeah, it shows my bald spot. I'm the only one in here that hasn't got one. Yeah. I ain't going. Everyone else has got a bald spot apart from me.
Yeah, well, you cut your hair with a knife and fork, so it really doesn't matter, does it?
Cool. Let's see if this is working. So,
Right, why is that not turned on? Well, hang on, that's recording. That you don't want that
I'll
fucker.
just, right, accept.
It's like, do you see how he presses the button? It's just like.
Let me see if this is working. Hello, is someone there?
Hang on a second. It's not. It doesn't look like it is.
No. Hang on. Hang about.
We didn't hear it.
Right.
Hang about.
Can people in
Right, do the Bluetooth again.
Bluetooth again.
Is the
Right, hang
slider
on a
got to be
sec.
up?
Yeah, no, it's flashing, but it didn't look like it was connected before. Teething problems.
Give us a sec, Scott.
Give us some sex, Scott. Excellent.
Yeah, it did. It disconnected.
Yeah, right. You're in.
Connected
Done.
for calls and audio. Right, Scott.
Try again.
No.
You'd have to end the call and start again, I think.
Yeah, try that.
Oh, fucking up. Right,
Sorry, Scott.
Sorry, mate. Call me back.
Sorry, Scott.
Try again.
Fucking poor.
Yeah, it mostly will work the second time around.
We'll
Yeah,
get
because
there
it's lit up
eventually.
now, so I know you're.
Yeah, it's not flashing.
you were
It's actually
connected.
lit. It's a solid light.
Yeah.
Oof.
Solid light, sir.
Solid blue light.
Suits you.
Where's the
Elevator music,
thingy
maybe.
music? Yeah.
Oh, hang on a minute.
Right, okay, here we go
no-
again. Let's
Here we
try
go.
again.
Game on.
Hello.
Can you hear me now, Dan?
I can hear you now, brother.
Technology. Easy.
Hey!
Yes, we can hear you now.
Right, if you need me, I'm in the other room.
Scott,
Look at you, brother, sat there. Look at you, brother, sat there. Where's that drink? Get that drink out and celebrate my birthday, brothers.
Happy birthday, mate.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Scott.
Thank you
He
very
said,
much,
get a
my
drink
good
out, not the
brothers.
entire bottle. Oh, for fuck's sake. It
And
starts.
it's also, I don't know if you're watching or not, Kaylee. I know it's your birthday as well, so if you're watching, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Kaylee.
Happy birthday, Kate.
And
Birthdays are very popular.
happy birthday, Rev.
Hang on a minute.
It's
we're
his
gonna be
birthday
pissed.
today.
Tomorrow.
I didn't know.
It'd be
Don't
today by the
worry.
time we finish, but
Happy birthday.
I'm watching the Fiver, yeah, and you remind me of a rubbish Backstreet Boys tribute act.
what you mean, fat, overweight, never really made it? Quite shit. Well, don't worry, we're listening to your call and we're thinking about 50p in one of them phone boxes in the middle of nowhere calling a bird that doesn't care. So it all works well. Was that harsh?
Whose idea was this, Rev? Was this your idea?
It's his.
Si?
His, there. That one. There.
Don't
Him.
blame me. Don't be blaming me.
No. I thought it'd be a good idea to get a couple of YouTubers around a table. What could be so difficult, right? The
I
only
think this is a very good idea.
the only problem we
Very
got
good
is the technology is limited to the bloke using it. But
It's all worked out tonight.
well, we're getting there.
I mean, to be fair, chat, at 8 minutes 40, we had no sounds. We had 0 sounds. And we have got currently 8 sets of headphones on the system. And we have an odd pair of headphones that is on the Sega Rally or whatever. What's it called?
It's
Rally 2.
Yeah,
whatever.
it's
you know,
Dirt,
his cockpit,
Dirt Rally
he's
2.
got- He's got his cockpit shit in the corner. The only sound that was coming through on the YouTube stream at 8 minutes 40 was coming through the headphones on his fucking Rally 2
Basis like this,
cockpit
he's like,
setup.
hang on a bit.
He's panicking.
And
his
he's
shit,
off, but he-
panicking his head
And,
off.
he's tracked it
And I
down
said,
to the
"Don't
headphones.
worry, we've got a good 10 minutes at 8 minutes 40. We got it sorted in a minute.
So we're going through the settings, and I'm like, ain't
But it
that?
was
And ain't
funny,
that?
yeah.
Ain't that? Ah, computer settings.
I said, I can hear it. I can hear it. Where the fuck can I hear it from? Of course, it was
Running around over
the cockpit fucking headphones. Nothing else.
that nobody's got. They
Yeah.
just sat there.
Yeah, and even the mic doesn't work on them. There were £20 set of headphones that worked really well for a while, but
So here we got. So obviously I know you. So I know Dan. Who's the other good brothers there? Can we go through the names?
We'll go through the good brothers first. Who's two?
Yeah.
Alan,
that
Alan, Dave.
Yeah, we've got Alan, Dave.
Winston Smith's taxi. And by the way, sporting one of Rev's merch. So a little plug early on. Go
hang on.
It's a daddy
You're
t-shirt.
gonna have to lean one side or the other because you got a mic right in the middle of it. But it says liquor, guns, bacon, tits, LGBT. All right.
That's proper LGBT.
And what are there?
That's a dad t-shirt again.
Well, it's a dad body wearing.
Surveillance, monitoring, analysis, reporting technology. 50 minutes it is.
Yeah.
So that's the good brothers. That's the good brothers out of the way. And this is well.
How you doing?
I think.
I don't see any t-shirts with "Happy Birthday, Scott Andrew" on. What's going on?
Sorry, mate. We weren't planning.
You let me down, ain't you? You've let me down again.
Blame teaspoon.
If I did it for you, I'd have to do it for everyone else whose birthday is this weekend.
no.
I cannot afford that, my man.
Blame
There's
teastring.
five, you know, you could have had that. So I could have had the S, then Alan, the C, Dan, the O, the double T, Scott. Sorted.
Poor planning.
Forward planning, yeah.
The football style. Give
Cool.
us an S.
Yeah.
Do the S.
It's YMCA, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Cheat league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. He's off. He's had enough.
Well, it's going to see if his phone's not 5%.
I knew it wouldn't take long. I give him a set of headphones and I'm off. Fuck you.
Drink.
Oh, right.
To rustle a bag of crisps.
You
know,
know,
What, you mean the sort of Chris you smoke? All right. Yeah, cool. So, yeah.
So listen, Scott, how you been? Listen, I want to let me just be thingy here. not my stream, so I can't
Do what you like, love.
I can't be as nice with the time as I normally am. 'Cause there's about 7 or 8 different channels watching, and obviously we want to get speak to as many people as possible and have a laugh. But I wanted you to call in because I wanted to wish you happy birthday directly. Do you know what I mean? So
You look like a couple of meerkats over there.
God bless you, Dan, and God bless you. So I thank you for allowing Dan to do that. No, I'm all right, Dan. Thank you for the birthday wishes. We're all going out, me and my pals. We're going to do it next week, money, and also Easter. We've just had Easter. A lot of my earthly friends have got their children and whatnot. So we've had the Easter, haven't we? And weather's not been overly great today, so I decided we'll park it for this week and we'll go out next week. So any of you are welcome if you're in the area. And we're going to probably go out to a pub and have a couple of drinks and do a belated birthday celebration.
well, I'm fucking off back up north tomorrow.
I'm washing my hair that day, whenever it is that day.
So if this was all around the same time, I'd have fucking stuck about a bit longer and maybe popped over and said hello. But I've got to go back. Got to go back tomorrow.
What you down up this way, Dan? Are you?
I'm in Western Superman.
Down up. Yep.
Western Superman.
Yeah.
He's in Somerset and it's pissed down the entire time he's been here. The poor cunt. We're over 15 seconds in. I think we're all right.
I don't know why I did a Welsh accent.
Anyway, listen, Scott, man, there's somebody else trying to call through. And I don't want to take the piss.
Thank you. I'll get off the phone. Thank you, everyone, for my birthday wishes. God, have a lovely night.
Have a good one, mate.
Take care, easy, man.
Take care, gents.
Ta-ra, mate. Ta-ra. Well, that's not working too badly, I suppose. It's come through.
Sounds right to me.
Happy enough with that.
Yeah.
You crack on. I'm just playing with it.
Right, I've got another one.
Play with his buttons.
Steady.
Hello, caller. Or not? Yes.
Hello.
Hello. Who's
Hello,
this?
can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, who's this?
Hi, this is Ray.
How you doing, Ray? You all right?
All right.
Ray Pierce.
Was in that castle, Ray? Anyway, Ray, what were you
Sorry, I
ringing
can't
in?
hear you.
What were you ringing in about, bud?
Can you hear us?
I've got a question for Tony.
Who?
We don't have a Tony.
I've got a feeling that you could have a drunk one here.
There's no Tony here, mate.
But, do you want us to be Tony or
I can be Tony if you like.
I'll give it a bash?
Tony Montana.
Yeah,
Didn't you do a Tony Montana
the one
earlier
in
on?
the Beatles shirt.
One in a Beatles
yeah.
shirt, right?
That's Alan. What?
Yeah, anyway, what did you want to say then, mate? Oh, fuck me, it's not really
Ray, it
working.
was Ray, wasn't it?
What's
Ray,
up? What
yeah.
do you want? Ask away.
Oh, that went well, I think. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, buy them.
That was
Okay.
a real stinger. He got
Tony.
us. He
Right.
really got us there.
You handled that question really, really well. I've got to say your answer was
I know.
impeccable.
Yep. Outstanding.
I think he backed it up
I've
with
been
with
practicing.
fact, vigor, guile, you know.
It's the practice.
Right.
But we're desperate for views, so we'll be anyone you want us to be.
Hello, caller.
Hi, it's wee Tina from Bonnie, Scotland.
Hello there.
So, what do you think about all this SMP crap?
Loving
Come
it.
on.
I'm enjoying the fuck up. Are we allowed to swear?
Yeah, as
Oh,
much as you
good.
like, yeah.
I'm enjoying the farce of it all. It's brilliant.
Yusuf Dickwad.
So you said fuck up, asked to swear, they went fast.
I know. Oh, complicated.
That's
I'm
the
going to have to leave these three to answer this
you not-
question for you because I don't really do the politics.
Right, SMP at the moment, it's got more skeletons than a fucking graveyard, hasn't it?
Well, they're putting a load of money in is it a camper van in Sturgeon's mum's name or something?
Yeah, but how much
like
does
that?
a camper van
Well,
cost?
this was over 100 grand.
It was his mum's.
And then they said it.
Well, the money they mugged off the Going Independent was 500 grand, right? Right.
They had a
Is
nice
there-
bus
is
for
there a
that.
battle bus, yeah.
Well, I know somebody else that wanted a bus,
sorry,
collected money for it and never got one.
Y'all, look, it's not about politics, like you just said. It's not about that. It's we need to stand united, stay together, no independence, anything like that.
Yeah, but haven't you? What's the next parties down? Are they not like pro independence as well?
Well, the Conservatives up there are Marxist.
Right.
The Labour up there are full on nightmares, right? And the SNP, which proposed to be the Nationalist Party, which we're not
Don't
allowed
call them
down here because it's
nationalists.
racist.
Don't call them nationalists. You cannot allow it.
No, not allowed. No, you're not allowed to down here. Right, BNP, British Nationalist Party, racist, right?
Yeah.
Scottish Nationalist Party, proud, strong, and brave.
I've
right?
seen Nicola under interview, and when they call them a nationalist party, she flips out.
Yeah,
Even though
because
it's
she's been
valid.
told to pull back on the rhetoric,
Yeah,
right?
no.
Because
She's not in charge.
what she's about to do is say, can we just exchange Great Britain for the European Union? Although the European Union went, how much money are you bringing to the table? Oh, we'll talk about that. No, let's have that now, actually, because you are not, you're a debt
Yeah,
burden.
Sorry, lady. Caller, what was that?
My bad.
Can I just say in your channel, men are men, women are women.
That's true.
And that,
Well,
Yeah,
let's set the cat amongst the pigeons here, shall we? Would you have given women the vote back in the day?
I never voted, and I am ashamed I voted SNP, because at the time, it was the only time they had a way out of Labour in Scotland. And that's the only reason people voted that way.
I think. Have you got the volume up on your the stream you're watching? Because we can hear
Yeah, slightly.
you back like about 10 seconds.
Or maybe
later.
it's my kit here. I don't know
Could be
yet.
our
You know
kit.
what? Volume down. Got my volume down.
There you go.
Yeah, it's something else, but it's good. It's fair enough.
It's doable.
The question Simon was asking you is sort of alluding to a lot of the conservative women now think that women should never have got the vote in the first place. So his question was to you along
You
that
know
lines.
what? Do you know what? Simon, I stand by you.
You what, sorry?
She said she stand by me. At the end of the day, right, there's a lot of women that say we shouldn't have bothered.
Said that a lot of times.
Yeah.
And you're right. Women were meant to stay at home, look after the reins. Men were working. That's the way life was meant to be.
Are you married?
I've got a feeling.
You guys watching it.
There's a lot of men out there going, she sounds all right to me.
I'd just say, if no one said it already, the best advert for the Union, United Kingdom, would be Yusuf. He's brilliant. Honest to God, it's good.
Is that bloke that everybody else apart from me is a racist?
White.
And we need to get rid of him. Yeah.
That's probably for the same reason I want to vote Labour.
What clan does he come from anyway?
I don't know, but Scotland was 97% white when
Well, the clan fucking
he
terrible.
made that speech. So I would presume a lot of the high-profile jobs would be covered by white people.
Apparently, my game's a bit low.
Right. Don't worry, Dan. We'll deal with you now. Right. Put that near your gob, right? And make sure it's aimed at it. Let us deal with this.
While he's doing that,
Guys,
Paz
just
isn't
remember, not all women are what you think.
Oh, no. We
Yeah.
think that most women are very, very good.
Yeah,
Honestly.
check the Adam's apple.
yeah, providing they are women, yeah.
Better?
I don't know. I've just been told that my game was a bit low.
It's very
On your
quiet.
channel, sweetheart.
And Paz isn't here, by the way, who anyone's asking. Not
He is here tomorrow.
Yeah, swap Pat for Paz tomorrow.
That's going to fuck me up. I've been calling you Paz. All the time.
It'd be like watching Batman.
Oh, the world is crazy. The world is upside down, left to right, whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's just
It
nuts.
is.
Yeah, but it's all done. It's all by design, isn't it? To be honest, let's
Yeah.
face it, there's
The
nothing.
power-
Nothing's happened by fucking accident.
What's right is wrong, what's up is
people.
down. It's all backward. And it is like literally a clown world we're living in now. People getting arrested for saying the drag queens are groomers and all sorts of shit. We'll bring that story up later on.
Are they?
And people don't realise this is going on in the UK. That's what bugs my... Oh, sorry, I'm going to say boobies. It bugs my boobies.
How dare you?
Rude.
People don't realise this is happening to their kids in the
Right,
UK.
lads, hold your
and
ears, hold
I
your
don't know,
ears.
You brought up that topic, not me.
Verbal pornography.
Paul?
Well, sadly, it's reality, isn't it? Stories like this. We're going to bring it up later on. And it is sad reality, like you said, this dystopian world we're living in where right is wrong and up is down and left is right.
Oh, forget your name in the blue jumper. Remember, this is the Twilight Zone. We watched years ago. We are loving the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, we are. 100%, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. If you think what was going on 5-10 years ago, and what was accepted then and what's accepted now.
Well,
But what's accepted? That's a word that you can invert back on them. What's accepted? Because we consent.
None of us did. None of us did. None of us voted for the shit that has happened to us, is it?
He's naughty, isn't he?
He's got a new toy.
He's got some good voices to do as well.
Yes.
To be fair, though, I don't view stuff like like that. There was the new GB News grooming report. I couldn't watch it. I didn't want to watch it. I know enough about it.
You already know enough to know there's stuff in there that's just going to make me feel worse about the day that I already know.
Yeah, and it does.
Can
It
I
just
say
depresses you.
something?
Yes.
Just to remind you guys why this whole thing started. The awakening in the UK and worldwide was the I don't know what to say the word on your channel.
Go on, say it. Go. Say it.
P word, grooming, babies, children.
oh, pedos.
Yes.
Oh, but yeah,
None of our
yeah.
channels will be monetized tonight. That's for sure. Don't worry about that.
Well, if they were, they won't.
But
Yes.
people need to remember.
You know when you want to say these words, right? You know when you go to say that. Do you get that feeling?
What I was forced to do over the last couple of years is say things like medical experiment.
Yeah.
Things like that or I spell out rumors in like 3 words on Twitter.
I'm not really serious
Or you say words
talking
like,
about the
"Hey, drops."
jibby jab.
Chlora.
Sorry, what was that, caller?
So
Nope.
say again,
You
caller.
still there?
Caller?
Hello.
I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm here.
yeah.
For that.
Simon panicking then with the buttons.
Yeah.
There's a problem with the technology.
Fucking you. Put it on YouTube.
To be honest, I was expecting this to have crashed by now, so I think we're doing quite well. Usually, it's either this box that crashes or that box over there. But to be honest, because we're expecting it, and I've been told everybody that it's going to go wrong, it would just piss us off and be all right.
And just to tell everyone in the chat, if the stream goes down, like all of a sudden,
It's the only thing that's gone down in this house for a long time.
Within 2 minutes, we'll come back up as if nothing had happened. We won't do nothing to any of the setup. It just resets. It just resets.
To be honest, if the sound goes, it takes a second, right? If everything else goes, the stream will stay open. You'll just have a blank screen, or we'll just be like
2 minutes.
All right,
and then we'll come back.
Catalog post, but we'll be back. Yeah.
It's crazy. Everything shuts off down here, like.
Yeah, and we're just sat there going, it's done it again, isn't it?
Yes, Simon.
Yes, love.
Where's Dave?
He's over there.
Dave?
Well, he's not. He's making an appearance tomorrow. Go on, Steve.
He's behind. Hang on a second.
He's in his sleep, really.
I thought we were going to say he's on a bender.
Dave, after last night's appearance,
he's got his nose tucked in the grow bag.
There he is.
There's Dave.
Right, sweetheart. Right, guys. I just want to say there's real women in the world. We need to check off this trans pish.
Yes.
Pish.
And you men, do you men. Oh, there he is. There he is.
And to be honest with you, it needs to be women that stand up and
This
make
is-
the most.
Lead
of
the
it.
charge.
This
They do.
is
You do.
Yeah.
You need
this
because
is
then
the
men will
point.
follow.
The
The men
vote.
always follow.
Yeah,
when
the women
protest.
need to stand up. The women need to stand up. The parents,
Do you know when
the
there was the
females.
strikes with the miners, right? The lads would go in there and get ironed out by the police. The women would go in there and the police would be like, ah, shit.
I mean,
It
you know, if some more parents went out there and they got that crazy abuse from the degenerates that think everything like that is perfectly normal,
Yeah.
then it would rock that table forward. You know what I mean? It would. People would wake up properly then.
Well, we've seen in the last couple of weeks, we've seen the Posey Parker thing in New Zealand, and who's the American girl, the swimmer? She got attacked.
Riley Gaines.
And so a lot of people have seen women saying they don't feel safe with men in their spaces, And for saying it, they got attacked by men.
She
So
was
it's waking
assaulted by a
people up.
man. She was
Yeah,
assaulted by
that's-
a man in a dress.
Yeah. So basically, regular people will watch that and go, well, maybe they've got a point. Maybe they do need to be protected.
Right.
What?
Sorry, caller.
We never grew up like this. Anyway, guys, I'm going to let someone else call in because this is a deep conversation for a woman like me, and being on your own, and it is scary. No, it really is.
Yeah, I can understand why.
This isn't a problem my whole life until now for many of us, and for you guys. Because how do we know you're a guy?
I could prove it, but you don't really. I think that's illegal.
Yeah,
Look at that exuberance to prove a point.
Call it. If I was 20, if I was 25 now and I was looking for a good job in media or anywhere now, and they asked me what my ethnicity was, and what my gender was, I would make sure I'm a black, lesbian, trans woman. And
How do you know you're not?
Well, the reason I know, I know why.
It is a legitimate
because
question
I
these days.
identify as that person. Fuck you if you turn around and think that's not good.
I thought you identified as a snap-on spanner the last time I talked to you.
Well, look, if it got me the job and they got their like diversity points,
Oh, you identified as chocolate biscuits.
then it'd be fucking sound, wouldn't it? And let's be honest about it. If I did identify as that, they couldn't even challenge me on what I identify as, and it works to get that job, doesn't it?
I don't want to type up this conversation. It's all MK Ultra. Anyway.
Do you know, we could have done with some MK Ultra earlier on. It was a fucking slow day. Anyway.
Right. Anyway, caller, I'm gonna have to knock that one on your head there, I'm afraid, because it's not my.
Bye, guys.
Remember,
Bye, guys.
just so everybody,
Cheers, caller.
not just the caller there, but for everybody else, you've got to remember that this isn't, although I'm streaming on my live, it's
Free watching on one of my channels.
hang on.
That's how fucking nailed I am.
all right, darling, take it easy.
Cheers, bye.
Bye.
Anyway,
right, take my number off for the time being.
well, fuck you.
I want to.
I was going to go for a piss,
I'm
actually.
gonna leave you- well, we'll have to leave him in charge then.
You have to sword fight.
What could possibly go wrong?
Christ.
Right.
The lard of the flies.
Give it to me.
How many people are watching? Did you say? So it's going to half very rapidly.
At least us.
We have a lardy time tonight, are we?
I think we're.
Bloody Jesus.
Right.
You watch the chat. You watch the chat now.
I can take some more calls a bit later on when we've had a drink.
I feel like terrible.
By the way, Simon's got a chest infection that he's currently just giving to everyone on the table.
Everybody here,
Yeah.
have it. Do you know what? It's funny. I said I got a chest infection. Somebody went bollocks. I went, "All right, what is it then?" Outward lung hanging out. Right. Okay. So, well, while we're waiting, and let's be honest, nobody I know has been notified by anything I'm doing. So, let's get down to the bottom of things. Oh Jesus, what's space put out? I'll go through.
Streaky, you can always ring up in the chat and tell us your opinion.
Have you heard about that woman that married a ghost?
Yeah, I didn't read into it. It's like
What do you think about the
She
Delhi?
wants an injunction against him because he's stalking her or something.
No. I thought she wanted a divorce because he's not put a show in lately. But anyway, we'll get to that in a minute.
Didn't he sexually harass her on the beach?
What do you think about the Dalai Lama with the tongue out business?
It's fucking nonsense.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, yeah, but do you think the Dalai Lama were actually legit at one point, or do you think they're now just a political
I
puppet?
don't know enough about it, but this guy's certainly a nonce.
I quite liked him when he was pro-Brexit.
He was.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Just leave them kids alone, right?
Yeah.
Hey!
No idea about that stuff. Yeah.
Just bite my tip of my tongue repeatedly. Come on.
Well, hang on a minute. There's other people that use their teeth to bite parts of a fucking child off.
Blanks.
Well, with measurements at least, yeah. Right, moving on. Woman who married a ghost wants divorce and blames him for haunting. I've got to have a look at this. This is going to be worth a... Right. Okay. Woman who married a ghost wants a divorce and blames him for haunting and stalking her.
Yes.
I thought that she got pissy because he didn't stalk her.
Yeah.
Do I consent or do I not consent? That looks like ad shit. Fuck off.
Is this not somebody who's decided or found out a way to become the invisible man?
Well, there was one bird that married something that looked almost like a I don't know. Well, let's just see if I can read some of this. And yeah, obviously, I probably won't. Remember when British singer-songwriter Rocker Brocard?
No, don't know.
No, never heard of it.
No.
Got married in her. We're going to use lots of words I can't. Fucking dyslexic prejudice. This
Can you
is
get it on the screen so we can read it for you?
Is it on Discord?
actually.
Matt's the man for the job.
Yeah, Matt. Well done. It's on Discord, right? Go on to topics because I'm going to struggle. But
How far down? Woman married a doll.
Go up a
Past
bit.
Oh,
Anyway, it said a ghost soldier of Victorian era. Just to jog your memory, a UK woman married a ghost on Halloween 2022 in an abandoned church. She met Eduardo. See, Eduardo. She married a ghost called Eduardo. So that was an immigrant ghost. It wouldn't work out. When he entered her bedroom unexpectedly last year, she tied the knot with him. What the fuck? Just 5 months into the meeting, after feeling a strong connection right from the first meeting, they went on a honeymoon at Barry Island in Wales.
Wow.
Oh, top notch.
Well, that was like
Barry
that's why-
Bedos, isn't
That's
it?
why I didn't believe it. You would never go to Barry Island.
Well, no, if you were
Yeah,
deluded,
Some
you
people
might.
do, man. Some people do.
Barry Bedos, isn't it? All right, hey, fucking proper
Where
park,
did you
innit?
get to?
And it seems like a lot. Oh, well, anyway,
So, do you want me to carry on? So, well, it seems like all is not well in this romantic paradise as Brocade wants a divorce. Within a year of marriage, Rocca Brocade has become upset with her husband and wants to leave him. But hang on, read more. But he is now allegedly stalking her. Fed up from this, she is now considering bringing in an exorcist to get rid of him.
what? You're not seeing the kids either? Is that what it is? hey, would he have to pay some sort of
alimony type stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say there's some sort of
No.
yeah. I'll support the
Do you know
kids.
what it was? I think right. I think she got drunk, right, and she.
Do you think
she did something with somebody, and something was left in her drawers, and she thought it was ectoplasm from the Ghostbusters.
Oh, the beer's
That's what
working.
it was.
Excellent.
Yes.
Right, I'm feeling strongly abused.
So, yeah.
Jesus,
She's at
the
end of
infection's
day
getting
that
worse.
I don't want to admit defeat, but it feels like being married to a ghost doesn't work.
Have we not all worked that out before?
Awesome.
We go down.
I was thinking of trying it. Which ghost would you marry? Would it be someone famous, wouldn't it? Like Marilyn Monroe?
What's the
or
point?
something?
You can't grab it.
Well, there is a song about screwing a ghost.
Is there?
Yeah, my kids listen to it.
Yeah,
I quite like the lyrics of it. It's quite weird.
as you do.
Yeah.
Do you think potentially, as she was a musician, singer, songwriter, do you think perhaps this might be a little bit get a career back on them? I'm being cynical there, aren't I?
Yeah, that way.
Do you think when someone comes out with something like this, they're just on the level?
I don't
Trying to
know.
get the extra publicity.
Yes.
And by the way, I've got this, that, and
Yeah, I know.
Follow
Yeah,
me
she's
in
even
this.
mentioned Marilyn Monroe. Hang on a minute. As reported by the news channel Rocca Brocade, the ceremony had an open invite to the living and the dead, which saw the likes of Marilyn Monroe, Elvis, and Henry VIII arrive at the chapel. Oh, hang on. He apparently, I think we're talking about Henry VIII, made an inappropriate comment about Marilyn Monroe looking hot.
So he's on a charge.
On the wedding date. Yeah.
Henry VIII, I am. Henry VIII, I am. I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah, she just wants to be famous again. She misses the fame. There
Unlucky.
you go. I
well,
made my.
that's
That's that then.
Ironed.
Put that one to bed.
Fairly
Anyone
quick.
disagrees?
Jeff, if we carry on at this rate, we'll be done by 9.
Comments, in, you know.
Anyone disagrees? Phone the complaint line.
That's turned off. Anyway, Roger Whittaker. Hello, mate. How are you? He'll probably be on the next one. Right. So there was that. We've done the Dalai Lama. A woman who married a rag doll.
Mm.
Do you want to do that one, Matt?
Okay, yes.
That is in here.
I'll grab a beer while you're doing that.
Far. So there's basically a load of crazy bints marrying ghosts and rag dolls. Hang on a minute. Get me sexy specs on for this one.
I think it's down this way.
You don't get production like this on Timcast, do you?
That's it. There we go. Look. Woman runs rag doll.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, you get proper.
Got it. Right.
There we go.
All right. Band-Aid baby. Woman who married a rag doll claims she's pregnant with their second child after her husband cheated. Hang on a minute.
What, the
So-
ragdoll husband?
So the ragdoll has been cheating on her, but 2 kids. Right. hang on.
From the ragdoll.
I'm going to have to read on to find out if this is. A woman who hit the headlines after marrying a rag doll was revealed that she is now pregnant with a 2nd child and hopes this will help save the marriage. I mean, that's usually quite a way, isn't it? There's some women, they'll do that. They'll
it's the way you get
trap a
caught.
man,
Yeah,
get
trap
pregnant.
him. Yeah.
God's sake. Honestly, it's not even safe to be a rag doll.
How does she know it's his?
Well,
Or how does he know it's hers?
It's a bit like those new women
Fuck it is.
that get pregnant. You know those women that just like
Yeah.
they turn pregnant and all of a sudden
Oh,
they're supposed to get pregnant somehow.
you don't mean the miraculous conception.
so anyway, he hopes this will help.
I thought that was
save the
Virgin
marriage
Mary, wasn't it?
after finding out her husband cheated on her. I can't
Immaculate
read the
conception.
name. From Brazil. Oh, she's from Brazil. She's gone viral many times over in the past few years after sharing her whirlwind romance with the inanimate object. The 37-year-old was thrilled to announce, see, that's a bit, she might be getting on with it. You know.
So this inanimate object put her in the club.
Yeah,
Well, yes.
twice, 2nd time now.
I reckon a ragdoll's probably better than a Barbie.
I think
I
she's
remember
closer to a
working
dad than you think.
Remember when I used to work in a hotel, the night porter was a ambulance, used to work on the ambulance. And we asked him one night, what's the strangest thing he's come across?
A woman.
Well, and
Sorry.
he said that he got called out once to a lady with a Barbie doll stuck. And what happened is Barbie doll had gone up a bit too far. His arms had got caught. And then, on the way out, his arms went like that.
I had an ex-missus
Yeah,
worked in
Dr.
Casualty, she said, and they walk in there, some of these gay men, proud as punch, with an apple shoved up there. They couldn't get back out.
Apple.
Yeah, and then Action Man figures, and there was one bloke that had shoved a glass up there that collapsed. Silly, really. What can you say to that?
There's a good website called the Darwin Awards, and there are many.
Oh, yeah.
That apples, I mean, you know, you just need to get to the core of it, and then it's all
just
sweet.
saying Darwin and what you don't need to watch it. You don't need to go there. With its name, it gives it all away.
I used to be a carpet cleaner, and
this is a joke.
there's been stuff
Oh,
left under the bed, and
Black light.
they specifically asked me to obviously move the bed. and clear-
Oh, they've got
yeah,
toys and things.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
yes.
I did.
like Scrabble.
Well, I don't know.
And
I mean,
Monopoly.
we'll just leave it there. Like
I had a
Gaelic.
friend
they
who used
asked
to
me to
rent
move their
out,
bed, and they leave presents for me to see. It's fucking crazy.
I had a friend who rent out caravans to events, right? Because it was the cheapest way rather than put hotels or whatever. And it was the Christian event was the worst because all the Christian girls would, when you got the caravans back, there would be toys in there and trucks and all sorts of paraphernalia. It would look like a bondage weekend. And he said that was the Christian girls. He used to put caravans into Glastonbury for BBC, and that was full of which probably would have come in useful really with a chest infection, but there we are. Anyway,
Do you want me to read on any more?
yes.
So the couple, so basically, I guess she's speaking on behalf of them. I don't know whether they're both speaking.
He's a mute.
They have a son
He doesn't
already,
say much.
welcomed last year, but they want to get married because they didn't want to have another one out of wedlock. They didn't want to have a
Obviously,
bastard,
he's worried
you know,
about the
a
shame
bastard
of it.
like
What does
Dolly.
his family think?
Well, we should have prepared.
We haven't
for this,
been
shouldn't we?
signed up
There's
yet.
so many jokes we'll think of later, won't they? Like Bagpuss and stuff like that.
Ragdoll Yammer.
But their wedding ceremony was attended by 250 guests. I mean, you'd go, wouldn't you? If you were invited to see a woman marry a rag doll, you'd be like, yeah, yes,
okay.
please. I'm going.
Yeah, now go
I
on,
want to
consummate the marriage. Go on, do it
I'd
now.
live stream it myself, please.
I've heard about this, like where they make love to a pillow, which is really, you really are lonely. But I mean, it's not much difference, is it?
Do you know what? You can get your name changed, right?
Well, what temperature do you wash him
So-
at?
Well, just get to my point on this, right? You can change your name, right? But there becomes a point where you can't, where they won't allow you to choose certain words for your name. Oh, good God! So if you wanted to change
Oh,
your name,
fuck off!
if you wanted to change your name to fucking,
Put that on the screen, man. Put that on the screen.
imagine you wanted to change your name to I'm a
Norks, isn't she?
I'm a cunt, right? Just imagine you wanted to change your name to I'm a cunt, right? They wouldn't allow you to do that because it's a legal thing, right? Marriage is a legal thing, but yet they're allowing people to absolutely piss all over the fact
Yes.
The marriage thing.
by doing something like that. It's
What?
ridiculous.
Drop one, pearl one.
Yeah.
Oh.
makes a mockery of it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the word. Yeah, mockery.
Some
yeah.
people have had to suffer marriage for a long time.
Yeah. I don't know who they would be. I love my wife.
I just think what a great troll. What a brilliant troll.
That's silence in the room.
Yeah. Well, we got to thank QC for these.
Anything I can do to help.
Thank you, QC. Keep coming up with some more for us.
Are you retarded?
Quite clearly.
A little bit, yes.
All right. Well, we got a call in, so let's just take the call for a minute while we're having a think about ourselves. Hello?
Hello, is that the Reverend?
Allegedly. Yes. How are you?
Hey, how you doing, mate? You all right?
I think we're getting better, really.
Yeah, I was going to say, you sound a bit rough, mate.
Yeah, no, it's not that. We were just a bit flat earlier on because some of us are either tired, ill, or whatever. So we decided, community-wise, we best go down to the pub. And we had a couple of beers to get us sorted. Trig farted on everybody he cared about.
Yeah.
Which was only due.
He sparked out. And bless him.
Bless you.
So
fair play.
and then we came back and we were almost ready for it, and then we set it up, and as Bay said, right to the end, sound problems, all sorts of shit, and then we went live, and I think we're here, whatever. But yeah,
oh bless you.
Yeah, we'll get it sorted, the optics at some other point, but it is what it is right now.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Anyway, Simons, reason for my call, mate. Have you seen what's been going on with the shares of Budweiser since that lovely little advert with Dylan Mulvaney?
I'm led to believe that we should have all been drinking Bud Light, and then what I should have done is I drink a Bud Light and go.
Do you know I feel a lot better about that now? Do you know I could do another little sip of that, and I'll be sweet as fuck.
So apparently,
Sounds like Henry.
yeah. Crinkles. Yes.
Yes.
Anyway, but yeah, apparently it's done really well. Kid Rock took the piss out of it. Who else did? They were just shooting barrels.
I think it's lost something like 6 billion or something crazy.
Yeah, I saw that.
So
Yeah,
you-
6 billion. Yeah,
6 billion in share value, right?
Share value.
Over how many weeks?
Money, very scary.
It's a week, isn't it?
Since it happened, which is only recent.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're not letting up.
And let me get this right. It was a beer that tasted like shit in the first place, right?
Mm.
That nobody buys unless they're trying to impress the mother-in-law,
It's
right?
the biggest selling
That's
beer.
exactly
Yeah,
on
but
the
what
planet.
you've got to remember is you can't
Bud Light.
you can't go over to
Bud,
any
yeah.
of them. You can't go over to any of them because if you go over to any of them, a lot of them are all owned by Bud.
Yeah,
So
there's a huge.
Yeah, I've drunk Bud before on holiday in Tenerife because you couldn't drink the water. That was it.
Yeah, but
There was no other reason.
But it's like Coca-Cola, you know, Coca-Cola. It owns everything bar Pepsi.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It owns a lot of it, and then
right,
the
yeah,
other
but
side is
Coca-Cola you
Schweppes,
drink
innit?
because
Whatever.
of reasons.
But either
reasons.
way, you've got to take the brand away from the market. From
I've
your
seen a lot-
market.
a lot
So
Yankees
at the
whole
moment,
brand.
right? So Bud Light is not just affected Bud Light; it's affected the sister things.
Well, what you got to remember, you
okay.
can't move on to say Coors Light, or you can't move on to another one because they are actually mother company Bud.
Yeah, I've seen videos of
Yeah.
people being in Bud Light and drinking Coors, but I don't know what the connection
think
is.
So the truth of it
Coors
is,
are
they've
separate
got some
companies.
right because I've not watched the news lately. So you're all going to explain it to me, and I won't get a libel. Right? This is how this works. Right? Basically, there's some mush that's now a bird. Is that right?
Pretending to be. He's not even
Acting.
genuinely
Not even
trans.
close, right?
He's a narcissistic gay man who
Well, he-
figured out that this was a really good way to get
He,
famous.
he wouldn't pass.
So how much
And
did
he's
he
pretending
make
to be
while
the
they
star,
lost
really.
6 billion?
He gets
Yeah.
paid about 100 grand or something.
he got paid 50 grand for the ad. That's what he got paid for.
He got 50 grand to
Yeah.
knock 6 billion off a
Yeah.
share value, right?
Yeah.
I tell you what, when you think of business acumen, right? Whoever was backing that, because you can back, right? Do you remember? I'm going to get conspiratorial. Do you want a bit of this? Do you want a bit of conspiracy?
She's got her in a
Yeah.
Though
She's a
they,
lady.
them, and all that business, right? Just before 9/11 happened, there was I think it was called a punt bet or a punt, whatever it is, where you bet on the share value to
on
go
the
down.
airlines.
4 of them, and the 2 companies that were in there anyway, right? And that it was put on in Germany. Anyway, that bet. So anyway, right? If you were one of these people that are on the inside and knew that this was going to go ahead, then you could have put a lovely sum on the fact that Bud was going to
Tank, basically.
quite heavily, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because it's called shorting, isn't it? You bet.
Yeah.
it's
Short
like
bet, yeah.
weird,
Yeah.
You're
Right.
betting on something failing.
So yeah, wouldn't it have been nice to have some news before that? By the way, this advert's going to go out tomorrow. I'm betting.
Well, it had a bit of rally back in the market, because obviously people said, "Oh, it's dropped," so I buy some. So it rebounded a bit, and then it's dropped more again.
Yeah, so you had the loyal supporters trying to put it up.
Well, I think you had
Well,
people
no,
going,
not
"Oh,
so loyal,
buying
just
a
people
dip."
thinking it wouldn't drop anymore, and it didn't, and then it's gone again.
So incidentally, how much does it cost now to buy a box of Bud Light up against what it did?
Well,
that'd be interesting to find out.
Well, it won't change immediately, but what like people were saying, there was like a chap that stacks the shelves. They do that in America. It's not the shopkeepers.
We do it
that stack
every
the
year,
shelves.
no?
It's like
Yeah,
other
somebody-
companies.
affiliate.
Yeah.
So
So
well, hang on, they come in and stack the shelves for the
promotional things.
Yeah.
Some big companies will do that.
So yeah, the alcohol section is all his. He says I do the alcohol section. He said, and Bud is normally here, and it's like this. I didn't have to restack it.
It's the end.
Everything else is empty.
It's the end of the aisle. A promotion.
Well,
thing.
no, it's normally in the center because
Right.
it's like centerpiece. He said, but everything around it is empty, and he said, and it's going to cost me money. He said because I work for Bud, so and all its offshoots.
Yeah.
So he's, you know, he said it's directly costing me money.
So
and apart from that, we won't be buying any like more in because.
But base, here's the thing, right? 6 billion in just over a week. What's the long-term ramifications?
Can you imagine if it's 2 billion after a month? That's still fucking massive bucks.
Well, it says here that the top execs at the Bud Light said that they were blindsided by the ad campaign because it was some low-level market.
Well, you'd say that now,
Just
wouldn't
cover
you?
it.
But if it
Just
went
cover
well,
it.
you'd be all on board, wouldn't you?
It was a low-level
That's
market.
still saving face, isn't it?
Low-level
Fucking
market
in it.
start.
This is what my idea. It was Jeff in the corner.
It is weird though because this Dylan Mulvaney has also got the sponsorship deal with Nike.
Dylan.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
Tampax.
he changed his name.
Nike,
And
Tired
Tampax.
fucking.
Tampax.
Tampax and also
What? Just
Nike,
chuck it in any old.
Yeah.
Nike sports bras.
So
But the
guys,
thing is-
I've got a question.
Oh, sorry.
God, mate. Sorry.
No, I've got a question for you. Obviously, this sort of like, gender sort of thing that's going on at the moment. Yeah, it's, I think, pretty crazy that you've got a bloke, obviously, dressing up being a woman, but more to the point, it's dressing up being like a little girl.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
pretending
just.
to be a little girl.
I haven't seen any pictures, right? So,
But
by the way, you're.
What the hell's going on there?
I've never met a female that talks like that unless they're a male acting out a female.
Yeah,
No female acts like that person acts.
Base, when you shout, you break the mic.
And they're supposed to be an
mean.
influencer, though. What has the world come to?
What the fuck is that?
I mean,
That's Dylan.
I've just been
this is
shown the
somebody
picture, by the way.
He's faking it. He's absolutely
Yeah,
faking
I thought it was a
He's
joke
not-
when I first saw it taking the piss.
He's
but
not trans.
it's not.
No,
and,
because
and he worked
there-
out
there-
doing
there's
day
photos-
one as a woman.
there's
day two.
photos of him as an air stewardess. Well, obviously he was gay then, and you can see that in the photo. But it wasn't trans then. Just trans now.
No, he's gay. He's clearly really gay. But
Is he
but
like
he's-
proper gay?
Oh, he loves it. But I don't know why.
He's a raising nudge, isn't he? You know what I mean? That's a bit of that.
But it's interesting how but this is the one when it's beer because the Procter and Gamble. Anyone remember the name Procter and Gamble?
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
Procter and Gamble.
So I boycotted. I mean, I don't buy Gillette. I don't shave very much, but I don't buy Gillette, and I also don't buy Fairy Liquid because it's owned by Procter and Gamble and all these companies. But they haven't had a hit. But this is actually the one that's really hit, and it's good news. It's really promising.
Yeah, but like Procter and Gamble are just like Bud. They control half the fucking
That's
market.
what I mean. Like you look
So like, if you want to avoid, like you said, Procter and Gamble,
It's very
you've got to avoid near enough any cleaning product in your house, whatever product that means. You basically,
Head and Shoulders, I think.
yeah,
is
so
one
all
of
of
them.
them.
That's kind of like the
Just
media, though. isn't it?
don't wash anymore.
So basically,
No,
the conclusion we come to
Cadbury,
is
Simon.
when you go and support this weird shit, you lose a fucking shit ton of money.
Well, I hope so. Hopefully, it continues.
So who
Yeah,
else
so
has
there's
this happened
another
to?
beer,
You know, this
sorry.
go won't go broke. It's broke a few places now, isn't it?
But
But
you've got
you
the
can-
ESG thing that
but-
protects a lot of them.
But if the public stand up on this stupid thing, right, and it goes worldwide,
What,
Western,
you mean
Western,
the pushback.
the pushback, and the people actually stand up and don't wait a week and then carry on as normal, and it continues. This will change the dynamics of what's going on in the world,
And also,
and all these companies will think, "Fuck me, wait there." This
is bad dart.
Yeah, we're not going down this fucking road anymore.
This
We're
is-
gonna
yeah.
play this. Yeah.
This has
needs to
happened
happen is
before,
they
though,
have
hasn't
to
it?
be made to apologise. That's the thing. I think that's the big driver.
What?
behind this protest.
You weren't just wrong.
They wanted the company to say, "We're sorry." we're sorry, we shouldn't have done that. That was wrong.
What, apologise to the shareholders and the people that buy their crap?
In general.
Yeah.
But then they're going to get but then they're going to get some screaming banshees being violent and attacking them for denying their existence.
Yeah, but do you remember in the old days? Oh, we can't talk about that.
That's what it says. That's what Bud have just said in that article. Bud have said it was a mistake.
Oh, that's the first step, but that's not a full-on apology. That's
I've seen the video of her saying that
that's a cop out.
But like, I had to step up and get with the diversity thing.
That's right.
All
So
inclusive.
she gave an interview 1 month or 1 week. It was before
Peachy's in. Say hello, Peach.
Hello, Peachy.
Hi, Peach.
Hi, Peach.
Oh, Loafer's there as well. All right, Loafer.
And Benny Hill.
Loafer.
And
Yes. So yeah, the woman who done the advertising campaign said like a week or a month before they even released this. That was the thing. She wants to get in with a new crowd, wants to get in with the diversity, wants to go stunning and brave.
Because it was flagging.
Stunning.
Yeah, because she said it was a dying label.
Yeah.
And
get it in your pap.
It was part of the plan.
Yeah.
And you know,
fucked up, backfired.
Yeah, big time. Yeah.
Yeah.
One more question, guys. Just quickly, sort of butting. How do you feel about Cadbury's selling out with Easter eggs? They're now no longer called Easter eggs. They're called
festive.
fucking celebration eggs or festive eggs.
celebration eggs.
well, so they do the same. Don't buy them.
Yeah, fuck 'em.
I'm totally, as far as I'm concerned, mate.
Don't that.
Oh, yeah, he's got a whisper.
Who did that? Did you say Cadbury's?
Yeah,
Cadbury's, yeah.
they're not called Easter eggs. They actually got on the boxes celebration eggs or festive eggs. They won't say.
That's right.
And
Easter.
let's talk about while we're there, our king and his latest shenanigans.
Oh, come on.
I think I might have become a Republican. I don't know.
Do you know what? Fucking get rid of the cunts.
Yeah.
I used to when I was born, right? No, seriously, right? When I was born,
And
I
Daniel
loved
tomorrow.
I loved all the pomp and ceremony. I fucking looked up to my queen, and I seriously did, right? I went to a religious school, right? And it was private. God fucking don't know why, but there we are, right? And I got kicked out there, obviously, for fighting and being a bit common, but whatever. But the point being is, I loved my country. I loved all the pomp and ceremony. I loved everything. And as it was then, I think it was quite good. What it's become now is bollocks, right?
Window dressing.
I wouldn't literally piss on the fucking teeth of the king as it stands at the moment if he was on fire, right? Seriously, right? His son's wife is half about, right? I'm going to let you work out which one, right?
It's not his son.
Yeah.
No, that's
No, that is his son. No, the other one ain't the one. Oh, Ginge.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, whatever. Right, but at the end of the day, they've run their course. They turned out to be a bunch of fucking manipulating, fucking. Oh, we can't talk about that. Wood serving. Do you like the way I went there? Yeah. Wood serving, right? Corporate fucking shills that are selling their own country out. And to be honest, wasn't he supposed to be defender of the faith? I'm going to stir some shit up now. Not defender of every other cunt's faith. Because at the end of the day, we're a Christian country. That's it. The rest of you cunts are all visitors.
Does he not put plural on faith?
Yeah.
Now.
Or
Defender
I
of the
think he
faith.
said defender of
Well,
either
well
faith
doesn't he
or
want to
faith.
read from the fucking Quran? Since, didn't we have a fucking crusade to deal with that shit?
Yeah.
Just asking for a friend.
See, I
Sorry, Pap.
I don't think many people have been that fond of Charles for a while.
Well, sausage fingers. Well, at the end of the day,
He's
right?
going to come for a while.
He married Camilla and then got married to Princess Di, and she knew there were three in the marriage from the off. Right now, I'm not saying she was totally innocent because she did literally get on the cock carousel for a little while, didn't she?
She
Right.
loved it.
Which is why there's some questions about old second son.
Benjamin's.
Yep. However, if I was bred by my family to be some serving fucking what they call it, an incubator for a wanker
Baby
who
farm.
loves somebody else, I'd be a little bit disgruntled.
M-
And then she starts trying to ban landmines, which made a lot of money. And then a couple of other things, and then she sat on the cock of a fucking a bloke who was slightly Islamic. And then it was deemed that she wasn't going to be about for much longer. I don't know about you. I remember where I was when that happened.
Wasn't Camilla a dried up old spinster anyway, so she couldn't.
Well, whether
provide
she
the
was
king,
no,
next
she'd
king.
already had to,
Yeah.
didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was no good blood wise.
I believe when they used
But
to
obviously she
actually
was
do a virginity
in the end.
test on the bride, the future bride, and she failed. That's what I heard.
What with?
They used to. I don't think they wouldn't have got away with it now.
Well, how
but-
would you do that?
Well, I don't know. Just
Are you? All you got to do is say, I ride horses. Oh, yeah. And everything else.
But when you mentioned James Hewitt and
nice guy, Ginger, very good.
And Harry, literally, when you said it, I thought of Justin Castro. And
blackface revolutionary from Cuba.
Yeah,
Is that the one?
I was thinking of Justin Castro straight away. Then I just thought, fuck yeah, they look literally. You put them together.
Oh yeah, yes.
Do you know what?
There's not much argument to the two.
Let's
of them,
be
really.
honest, right? If Castro had seen how his son turned out, he'd be like,
do you know the background on that? So
father and mother went over there. Dad was a bit of a prick. Mum got in with.
Yeah. So Trudeau's dad and mother were friends, big friends with him, like very, very, very pally. And they still are now, very pally. And and the timeline bang on.
Mountbatten?
Yeah.
Lord Mountbatten with Ben.
Nonce.
Right. And he used to go over to India to fuck as many black men as he could, which was all right because his missus was bouncing on black cock too. Now,
brown, but
well, I don't exactly know the intense flavour of it all because I wasn't invited. And I have to say, I'm quite glad. Not really my thing, really. Yeah. One-on-one, as it were. You know what I mean? Call me old-fashioned or that shit, whatever. But apparently he'd say to the driver, take me to where the boys are. Oh, yeah. Now, if you have a look at him before he got blown up on the boat, because obviously after he wasn't so good to look at.
2 boys with him.
Mm-hmm. Now, the guy that he'd just south of the border, right? And the father, when you listen to the father who'd been interviewed, you could see he was like, yeah, I've made a mistake here. Sorry about that. Anyway, that was the caller. My bad.
Have we been talking or not?
Sorry about that, caller. We did.
How long was that going on for?
4.5
the mic, didn't
4.5 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably a bit longer than that. But my bad.
Shit. Sorry, caller.
You should have said wait.
Yeah, we forgot you were there, mate. You're not in front of us, you.
This is the problem, right? So it's my fault. But anyway, right. So he got a 14-year-old to sail the boat. What the fuck would a 14-year-old know about sailing? Anyway, he was the one that got blown up along with Mountbatten. Mountbatten lost his legs and he was picked up alive but bled out. Hello, Fridge and Microwave. How are you, love?
Hi, mate. How are you?
Living the dream.
I'll just turn this down. Sorry.
Again, every time.
Every time. Call out, not.
How are you? Nice to see you, boys.
Not too bad. How is it going?
All right, not too bad.
So you've become a local on a channel, I hear, you slut.
No, I can see you, boys. I can see you. I haven't been able to get your live chat up yet, Si, but I'm working on that one. I've got Davey.
To be honest, mate, nobody's being notified that I'm live anyway, so it really doesn't matter. I looked and I was like, 4 there, 5 there. God, we're doing well. I remember the old days when people used to get notified. I put out a video yesterday saying I was going to go live today, and it came out today. That was quite nice. In the old days, I used to get notified within seconds. It's brilliant.
Paz is live, apparently.
Is he? Let's go and get Crashy's stream.
No, let's carry on doing.
No, we'll carry on and get Crashy's stream.
Oh, bloody hell! Bit early for that.
Been busy today?
Have I been busy?
Yeah, have you actually done some work for a living? Sorry about that.
Fucking start.
Not allowed to mention that.
Mother.
I'm only joking, sorry.
No, I took today off because I was supposed to be the host.
Under
but I've been
the
the worst host in the world because I'm fucking dying.
Oh, I've done some more recipes again.
Excellent. Have you talked to Pat and that lot? Because you got on there as well. Have you talked to him about your cooking?
Not cooking.
Yeah.
We haven't spoken about cooking.
Oh, right. We got him a microwave oven thing in all in one, and now he's cooking literally everything he comes across.
Anything.
We got a chef over here as well. Let me ask Matt a pertinent question.
Yeah, we've spoken before, haven't we?
Yeah, it's a nice guy.
Well, what's the healthiest favourite fat to cook with?
You're having the conversation with her. Well, the healthiest is probably olive oil, not avocado oil. But
Okay.
I would say lard.
Well, sorry, what was that?
Lard.
Did you say lard?
I said lard.
Oh, right.
As in goey lard or lard.
Yeah.
Do you hear that chat in my chat? Or?
It's on the right. It's on the right track. In the army, we used to have compo sausages in lard. They were beautiful.
Yeah.
Just open the top up and straight into the frying pan.
Oh. What's a
But
compound
you can't.
sausage?
Compound.
They're an army. They're when the army goes
Prefabricated.
yeah, something like that. But when they go to war, they pack all their stuff in tins, baked beans, tomatoes. You know.
Yeah, they
And,
what do they call it? It sanitizes it, doesn't it?
Well, give a good nice taste anyway.
When you can something, it goes on for 2 years for some reason because you've done it. In
army food. Well, they've got ball in a bag now, and it's not too bad. The Americans do peaches and MRAs in there, and they're
millions of peaches.
It's like getting parbled.
Peaches for me. Should we sing it?
Millions of peaches, peaches for tea.
The best thing you could probably ever get from the army was the
pension.
apple turnover.
No, seriously, the best thing you can get from the army is a pension because it means you made it out.
It's only 13 years.
I know. No, incidentally, let's have a look, see where Paz is. Have interest.
Talking to the army.
We're calling.
You might get a few
He's
guys,
probably
a few of them calling. But the way these people at the Home Office are going about these other lot that come across the water and putting them in army bases and RAF bases, that's some of that is mad. Absolutely shouldn't be done to RAF Scampton and stuff like that. You know, famous. The guys are turning their graves now. The poor buggers.
Yeah, I mean, I've got footage back in 2020 or 19 in Penally in Wales, where they took the war.
Yeah, been there, done that lovely little camp there.
Yeah,
little camp, Penally.
They took the war memorial and they covered it in a sheet. They took it down and covered it in a sheet. They couldn't remove it, so that's what they did with it. They basically hid it.
That's just out of order. Well, out of order.
They weren't asked to hide it. They hid it before they arrived, so I filmed it as well.
I don't blame them, you know. But what else are they going to do? You know, it's just getting stupid now. It's getting mad. Absolutely bonkers.
511 hotels currently at £10.2 million just to house. That's not that's not the £38 a week they get on a card. That's not that's not the 3 meals they get a day.
Yeah, food allowance.
What would you expect us to do? Leave them to suffer with the £10,000 that they had before in order to pay to come over it?
Well, yeah. I mean, like the numbers again. Back in 2020, it was. Yeah. Every time we were asked the question, they never said it was under €1,000. None of them ever said it was under €1,000. Some of them said free, which is like you take that or whatever you want to take that as, or up to €4,000 on a boat, and of course. Can't be that fucking desperate.
How much? So he said, how much more money have we got to spend? And we got servicemen and girls are sitting out on the streets homeless, and we can't even sort that out. And the Metropolitan Police just got rid of 8 of them policemen that were naughty boys. Just carry on canning it. That's what they're going to do. The Met are just going to cut their own throats.
Yeah, once again, you need the normies to wake up. Until the normies wake up, nothing will change.
Yeah, definitely.
No, it's true. Yeah, it's right there.
And then when the normies wake up, they'll just put a band-aid over it and sort of like take the stick a little bit, but it'd be the same result in a different way.
Totally agree with you.
And obviously that would be Labour and Conservative. My views on obviously the current situation is vote Labour. We have to vote Labour to accelerate the destruction of our country.
Vote Labour.
Vote Labour. Vote Labour. Let's just destroy our country, but quicker. Just do it quicker so that we can have a fight back before I'm dead.
I like the way you said that, The only thing is, you can see it's getting worse, but it's when you get worse is when you see apart from Northern Ireland and our MOD establishments, but as soon as I see a couple saying sorry, carrying a gun, it's time to go, oh, well, it must be time to leave or punch out. Stupid half of it.
Yeah. And like I said, it needs a system overhaul. You can't just go bouncing back from Labour Conservative.
No, you can't, no.
It's just nonsense. They basically both got to go. But the only way to start the ball is to get rid of the Conservatives, destroy them, destroy their core, and hopefully that. Simon will tell you where I live, they're all Conservative. He's like,
got Chelsea's training ground down the road, and that's blue, and so it's as simple as that. Won't get my vote. I'm not going to vote full stop.
I mean, I think it's a clear line between Conservatives and Tories. You know, a traditional Conservative is all right, but yeah, there aren't any in the Tory party.
No,
they're just globalists.
Yeah.
Well, I won't get. I'm full for May. I'm not going to. I've got the vote. I'm not going to bother.
Got to vote Labour.
If you don't do spoil your ballot though, you know, if you're not going to vote, you know, make sure it's sport so they get to see it.
Don't spoil one's go to the majority.
I might even just piss at it and say, yeah, that's what I think of that. But I won't.
Yes, so leave my votes alone in my chat has just put up vote Labour and get those Tampax in the men's toilets. It's already in the Welsh Senedd. So the Welsh Assembly, the Parliament building in Cardiff Bay, they already provide Tampaxes for the male toilets. Okay?
You're joking, mate.
No, he's not.
That comment is correct, apart from you should have put Welsh Labour. Welsh Labour instead of just Labour. I don't know. It might be it's going on in councils up and down the country, most probably.
Just out of interest, is Sunnybridge still going down in Wales, or the Welsh put that under wraps as well?
Sunnybridge. Remind me again, Sunnybridge.
Training area in Sunnybridge.
Is that in Brecon?
Yeah, it's must be about 10 or 15 miles as a crow flies.
I don't know much about it. I'm thinking of Story Arms, I am, in Brecon. That was the
I got some nice pubs down there.
Yeah, I can't. Sunnybridge is it's a big army barracks. They're thinking of turning that into.
It's just a big training area.
Right.
Training area.
Yes, next to Story Arms, Sunnybridge.
Chisel.
Yeah. I don't know much about it, so I couldn't really pass any comment.
They used to have a nice hotel over there. So the pub was across the bridge and down foot. And where Penally, where you were saying, there was a nice hotel there and a little petrol station.
Penally's a beautiful little place.
Lovely place.
In the middle of nowhere, lovely part of the country, especially when it's sunny.
Yeah.
854 people, and the 2000.
I'm surprised they haven't wrecked it yet.
So, they've shut it down now, thankfully. But out of 854 in the census, they moved into 230 something. Male, all male, and the point was, if you moved, I remember to the chat, Penally was literally right in Penally, the army camp. There's no gap.
Yeah.
The space between the houses and the barracks was about 12 foot.
Across the road?
No, fence. 12-foot
right.
fence, literally.
Oh,
yeah, between
next
each building. Yeah, between the end of their building and the end of like normal
house.
Yeah. 234 moved
the one if you go to Kent, the other part of that
Napier.
Napier.
Yeah.
Where the barracks, where the Gurkhas were.
Yep.
Barracks at the end of it. Near Lydden Hive.
I don't know that place, but yeah, Napier's bad enough.
There's they had it was a lovely little barracks, and so they burnt the bloody kitchen. They burnt the kitchen down for accommodation.
Yeah,
and they said Napier barracks. That was it.
Yeah, 1890 something. It was built, that accommodation.
A lovely little place.
Yeah.
Well, it's not good enough for the modern day traveller, but it was good enough to put our troops in for how long?
It's not good enough for the adventurers.
Good enough for us. When you come back there and had a few beers, you come down to town and you had a few sherbets or
anything that keeps the fucking rain off in them days, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, you'd have your fish and chips. You go up there, so you pass, go and go to bed. The old days.
Fish and chips.
This lot of it, fish and chips. All of the bastards.
I had one chip.
Yeah, I scoffed.
You'll suffer for that later as well, won't you?
I've got a shepherd's pie cooking in the. in the
sod off.
Yeah,
you can go off.
Just to go back on point at the moment, like they are not refugees; they're adventurers. That's what they are.
Adventurers, yeah.
They're adventurers, right? If you're from Albania, specifically, and you travel to the UK via half dozen countries, and then you come to the UK.
Can't we find a nice terminology for them?
Well, travellers. Well, adventurers.
Yeah, adventurers are quite right. But can we think of something more sarcastic?
Invaders?
No. Positive.
Oh, no.
Globetrotters. Globetrotters. Can we?
Globetrotters, yeah, you could call them that.
Yeah, but you know, I've said this before, but
Phileas.
if, for example, you travel those countries,
No,
come
it
to
takes
the
more than 80
UK,
days.
and you stay in your cousin's establishment,
Doesn't even make
whatever that
crisps.
is, and I got to say it, or for example, you claim asylum and you go to a hotel, you're in that hotel for 10 months at least, most 18 months, maybe 2 years. You don't go on a housing list because you just go straight to the front when they manage to get housing ready for you.
Wait, can you ask, because
Not
you're
bad,
live
is it?
as well, does anybody want to call in for you?
Oh, no, sorry.
They can use that same number, they can call in.
Well, they can call in and ask me anything. Can they?
Yeah, just so you know, that number exists for based as well. So if you want to call in.
I think at the end of the day, they've really got to really start sorting it out. You know?
Yeah, well,
and when you can't get your particular children or your daughter or your son into a school because they can't do it because of it's same as the Ukrainians. They want
when you say sort it out, we've realised that we've got so many gutless cowards around us that nobody else is going to help us. We're on our own, and the best we can do is make today okay. Hang on, bear with, right? Look after ourselves and hope that something comes along. But it's going to take
I mean, if, for example, you know, I'll play the leftist role here. Yeah, but it's not the migrants' fault. It's not the migrants' fault. I'm not blaming the migrants, but it's maths. It's fucking maths. Just look at the maths.
Yep.
That's all you got to do is look at the numbers.
Basically explain the maths.
The numbers don't add up.
Basically explain the maths.
Yeah, but if the numbers don't add up, you know, but for example, if we have a net migration like we did last year at 500,000, right, then that's going to get stretched throughout the UK.
But also the ramifications
of 500,000 people.
But the ramifications of that migration means that these people will produce and they're keen to produce. Where our lot are being a little bit lazy and a little bit laid back, and we've got 30 years before we've got to have a kid.
Well, I mean, for example, if you talk about the Asian community, Muslim community, they'll sleep in the mother's house, the parents' house. They'll have 3 sons, and they'll be married, living in the same fucking house as their parents. And then when they do buy a house, they'll all stick together. They'll all put money in together.
Yeah.
And they'll be driving around in a Ferrari, and that's why.
Yeah, but do you remember when we invited them over from the Windrush, right? The Windrush said we had problems because there was racism, and there was, right? So they said that we went to the banks, we had jobs, we didn't get paid much, but we had jobs and stuff, and we couldn't get a mortgage. So what we had to do is put all of our wages together and buy a place. And then they'd do it again and again and again, and they would basically prop themselves up because nobody else would support them.
Now,
the Muslims
they don't need to do that. They do it though for their own.
The Muslims have been doing this for years.
Yeah,
right.
Can't afford.
The one thing that the Muslims have got that we don't have is
community.
And solidarity.
Yeah, family, community,
right? Yep. Years ago, I think I would have said like anything from, well, you go back many years, but it stopped, I would say, about the 60s and 70s, right? And it was finished. And I don't often say anything bad about Thatcher, right? But it was finished in 84 when Thatcher broke the unions. But we had bad unions as well. But anyway, with the finishing of the union, and when people stuck together, they realized they couldn't get anywhere. That was capitalism overload, right?
Yeah.
And at that point, people gave up and they started saying, right? And I was watching an interview earlier on from a Welsh guy back at the time, and he said the kids today, he said they're not brought up the way we were. They said we worked out that we all stuck around for each other.
Yeah.
He says, and this guy said, this kid said, he says, I look after me and you look after you.
That's
and he said, I couldn't argue with it. He said, but that's the way it is now.
Yep.
And the problem is, every time somebody's looking after them and not you, you're just going to get fucked over, right?
Distant and distant and distant. And
based, if we flip the switch today, right, and we flipped everybody's mind back to the way it was in, say, for instance, the 50s, then everybody on their feet in the morning
on dried eggs, but have a great community. Still on
right,
dried
but
eggs.
They'd be on their feet, wouldn't they, tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Mind you, they'd be a lot thinner. But anyway, they'd be on their feet tomorrow, and
we've seen the photos of the beaches in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and today
they look quite well.
I didn't see any fatty over 36.
Well, you wouldn't get out there, would you?
Well, whether but you didn't see him.
Shit.
You didn't see him. And you watch photos from years ago. You didn't see him. The only reason people are fat is because the fucking food, the shit food that we eat.
We've got that. What they call it? I call it prefabricated. I always get this one wrong. Do you? That was it.
Prefabricated. Sounds like a building.
No, not the buildings. I'm talking about the food. It's prefabricated.
I know.
What they fucking call it?
Reclaimed meats. Yeah.
Well, no, it's not. Processed.
Yeah, processed meat.
I'm fucking right on the prefabricated, aren't I?
I did say processed, but
thanks for popping in, mate. Yeah.
I've never tried cooking a processed building.
Try cooking a prefabricated one.
Anyway, by the way, do you fancy a breakfast in the morning?
Yes, please.
Yeah, well, I'll cook it then. I'll go over Co-op and get
I thought he was just going to say you cook it.
Yeah, we'll go to the pub.
I was like,
no, I'll cook it.
Base does a lovely breakfast, by the way.
I'll cook it.
If
Yeah,
you're watching, I'm sweet. Fucking cheers.
Yet to know. Yet to find out.
Yeah, as long as you use good products,
Fine. I'm not paying for it.
We hunting tonight, are we?
The butcher's is expensive down that road, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's worth every penny.
It's nice to see you lot there enjoying yourselves anyway, which is good.
Yeah.
Who said we were happy?
Yeah, who you talking about?
Look at the fucking misery around here. Well, that one especially. He's very upset. Oh, bless you.
He's getting happy a lot.
I think you get.
That's a lemonade, isn't it?
No, it's my zero alcohol shit.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
He's driving, isn't he?
Well, fuck me up and down and call me Kerrick.
I hope he's not driving.
Yeah, it's zero alcohol.
He's actually staying tonight, but he's on the zero.
Anyone that watched stream a little while ago.
Don't start. Don't.
I got in a bit of a state.
Listen to the shame and the guilt.
He's driving tomorrow, so he's going to be drinking tomorrow. It's fine.
He actually thought he made a fool of himself. I just thought he just was enjoying himself.
Normal night.
Oh, you got out for another one?
While it's quiet.
Yeah. Honestly.
Well, you're like the boss, so you've got to like stay there, but we can just do it.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah.
4x4.
Oh, it's nice to see you, mate.
So I'll run it. It's all right. Fine.
The 4x4 fella in chat said, "Right, stop the boats on the ballot papers."
Yeah. If you're going to protest on your ballot, if you're not going to vote for someone, if you want to spoil it, that's a good idea, actually.
There was another one, wasn't there? What's that?
It won't fucking make. Oh, great idea, but it won't make a difference. It's a plan now. We've got a plan for the next stage after this. Sorry, there it is.
No, mate.
It's all depressing.
No, it's not, because at the end of the day, what will come out of this, right? Remember the old days where we used to have community? We had shame. You'd shame somebody for being a cunt,
Big on
right?
bringing shame back.
Right. I am right up for the shame, right?
I should name and shame.
Right. Oh, so you're a slut, are you? Yeah. Fuck off. Anyway, serious. Right. What are you bringing to the table? Oh, I like taking pictures of myself. Well, you don't know what it is, you fucking ugly cunt. Now, what's beautiful is an attractive lady with no makeup on, right? Who's walking her kids that are well presented. And you look at her, who's elegant, and you look at the way she's made those kids, and you go, fuck me. Excellent. Whoever's her husband must be so proud. Right?
I don't blame him.
Now, as a man now, what you think is, this is where it's going. So if I work really hard at being a decent man, I could achieve a woman that elegant who I could have great kids with, and she'll raise great kids. And as long as we work well together, things could really work out.
Yes.
Yeah,
well, this sounds far more attractive than the shit they've been selling us.
The positive spin on it is that there does look like there is, if you think about young people generally reject what the older people are saying, don't they? They push back.
Well, yeah.
So that if you've got really preachy millennials going on and on and on about what they want, then the young kids coming through, and I'm talking about the ones that might be like 12 now.
Well, talk about my daughter, because
rebel.
she looked at my generation and went, I don't want to be like you lot.
Yeah, we were degenerate.
Yeah, we were. I was really bad, right? My daughter saw me.
We still had morals, and there was still like there was a foundation there, like that we were brought up with.
You were quite nice.
I was, yes.
I wasn't. Right.
I mean, I'm still a hound,
right?
But
what I'm saying is, my daughter saw me going through the pits of everything at one point or another, right? And this is why she doesn't like drinking a great deal, all right? Although she forgives me for everything I ever did, which was basically just getting drunk. I was always very lovey, very happy, but I did have times that I just turned off, like, whatever. But she understood. But she looked at my generation and when your generation was a generation that had too many women or too many blokes, depending on which sex, obviously, you were the generation that just served yourselves. And you were the generation that didn't care about how it looked. And what they've brought back in later years, recently, is shame. So she said, we were part of this group. And if one bloke started trying to fuck too many women, we picked on him. And we said, what the fuck are you doing? I thought this sounds familiar. When I was a kid, that was how it worked.
But she
Right?
might be quite conservative. I mean,
this is quite a lot of thing.
I talked to quite a lot of young kids that I've worked with over the last few years, and these girls are just basically just sleeping with guys on first dates, and they just think they have to. So there might be a split. That's what I'm saying. There's going to be a group.
I've created a sub base.
I think there's going to be a more conservative movement, and there's going to be a degenerate movement, and people, I think, will naturally gravitate towards one, and that might be just the way it's going to be. But the ones that are more conservative, they're going to raise their kids. The ones that are degenerate are going to abort them. So no, you do the maths then. Eventually, you end up.
Caitlin wants 3 kids.
Majority
she
of
wants 3 kids get married.
You end up with a majority of people that are going to want to be a bit more.
Does this lead into the weak
socially
man
conservative? Yeah, this
strong times and all that.
But we were talking about what stage are we at the moment, Matt?
We're weak men.
Yeah.
Well, bad times. So we're at a bad times.
Which is decadence.
Yes, decadence. Yeah, the fall of empire. Sorry, yeah.
Which is
reading that,
which is something we should actually probably talk about, right? And there was I saw it
stages, all the empires. It's about 250 years approximately.
The collapse of an empire takes back in the old days, 250 years. You get the age of conquest, the age of expansion.
Then you got the merchant time making money,
lots of money, and then as it starts to slip.
Yeah, and then there's a move towards it being more intellectual. Academia starts to take over, and that's when it all starts to get badly wrong.
Then degeneracy follows.
Degeneracy is decadence.
Yeah.
Right. Decadence is back in the old days when the Romans were falling. What they put, which is something we did, they put people like their chefs up high and paid them too
celebrity
much.
chefs. Yeah.
So, say for instance, also the bread and circus, which was what they call it when they're on those carts, right?
It's football.
Well, one of them, so many sesterces, which was the currency back then, that he'd be the equivalent of a multi-millionaire, like 2 billion or something stupid like that, as a gladiator. But because he entertained them so much and took their mind off the fact that their empire was falling and they were fucking up. So the Romans understood that bread and circus was the way forward. The people that own our media now, that own our banks, that own everything else.
Oh, that's Pat.
Right. The people that understand all this understand that bread and circus is the way forward. However, at some point, like every other point, our civilization as we know it will fall. However, I still feel that the same thing will happen, is that it doesn't matter who we will fall. The name of our empire will fall, but the same people that owned before, that owned now, that will own the next one will carry on.
Chat, do you prefer seeing Simon's face or his back? Could you put that in the chat, please? Face or back?
He's all right for me. I'm looking down on him.
Depends if you're top or bottom.
I feel really quite shy now.
You sat him in the corner.
You sat like you're right in the bottom left.
Looks like he's been interrogated.
Can you move him number to the right? Oh,
yeah.
Jude, you're on.
Right, that's us. Now,
I don't know.
Turn that a touch more.
Do you know what I mean, Rev? Because everyone's just seeing your ear, basically. That's all I'm thinking.
Right. Well, actually, bollocks. Fuck it. 1 minute.
I can see it now.
Oh, hang on. Midstream. Hello.
No, he's back. It's it upside down now, on sideways.
That's what it says. We have to do a test, isn't it?
What's the chat saying anyway? Do they want to see his face or his ear?
Put the bird back on.
Do you hear that, Duke?
That's not bad, actually.
Well, guys,
This was what we were meant to use the first time round.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you. It's been a very nice chat to you. Like, I'm gonna let you lot get on and get someone else to get on. So
Enjoy your shepherd's pie.
Thanks for calling in.
I'm gonna
No,
enjoy my shepherd's pie.
Yeah.
Are you on? Are you on Sunday?
I am, mate. Yeah.
I'll see you Sunday then. Have a good day, boys.
All right, see you in a
Take
bit.
it easy, folks. I mean, not folks, just you.
Stun.
Peachy said she'd rather see Dave.
I'll deal with it.
Right, I'll catch you later, boys.
Take care, mate.
Cheers, Colin.
Bye, bye.
Right, is that a better view? If it's a better view and you're happy with that, stick 1 in the comments, please.
I think it's better. I think. I don't know what you think, lads.
So we're all in it, you know.
Yeah, we're all in it now.
That top view, you can.
Hello, caller.
See my fat gut on that.
Hello, everyone.
How are you?
I'm managing. I'm familiar with most of you. I'm aware of Simon and, of course, Pat.
Right, are you calling into
How
Pap?
you doing?
I'm calling into everyone.
No, call into Pap because I think you know him and I'm going for a piss.
How you doing? You all right?
I'm okay. First of all, cows go moo, dogs bark, woof, cows meow, and pigs shout, "Stop resisting!"
They do. They do.
Well, I thought I'd start with some amusing anecdote about Charlie Boy.
Our king.
Your king, maybe, not mine.
Richmond sausages.
Yeah. I went to this university in the middle of nowhere, where Charles is the chancellor.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a society there called the 16th, which is sort of like Aldi equivalent of the Freemasons.
Right.
And it's a secret society, 16 members at any one time. The only permanent member is Charles. And one of the rituals is that whenever they give a speech at one of their grand dinners, the speaker has to unzip his trousers and stick his John Thomas in a glass of port.
Bloody hell.
That sounds like a secret society. Yeah, that's what they do. Isn't it?
I was going to say
did
it's not
something
much of a society if it's only got 16 people. It sounds more like a fucking orgy than a society. It's all I can fit in the jacuzzi.
Do they have to drink the port afterwards? Ooh. Just ask.
Probably. Probably. But
you'd get a purple knob, wouldn't you?
I mean, yours not. Or am I the? I don't know.
Yeah, you're the weird one.
Well, I know.
Yeah. Oh well, we're talking about bellends now.
Well,
talking about bellends, have you seen the £5 coin with Charles's head on?
No.
With the profile
we've
and
got
his crown on.
No.
He looks a right cunt.
Well, he is.
He don't look right.
I mean, you really do have to feel for the males in the family, because up until recently, if they wanted to do a line of cocaine, they'd have to get a banknote with their grandmother's face on.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be weird.
I bet Harry. Well, Harry definitely. Accord County's killed 25 Taliban as well, which is always good for security, I'd suggest. Right. No other British serviceman just says I killed 25. He just leave that one alone, don't he?
I hear that he didn't really do that much.
Yeah, I heard that too. Yeah, and I heard what he said. He done cocaine. So can you imagine him wrapping up a note with his grandmother on it? Well, it's a step grandmother.
Well, it's like sticking a picture of your nan in a hooker's G-string, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't, would you? You wouldn't go, here you go, this picture of your nan.
Yeah, I'd use a fucking straw.
I walked into.
Charles is in a group where you have to stick their willy in a glass of port. And now you're up to speed.
Yeah. 16 people in the
A bit
group.
like Cameron, wasn't it? Was it he had to do? He had to stick his knob in a pig's
face,
pig's mouth or something.
Yeah.
Is that like
that before.
Brothers Under the Skin and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I think the concept of that is
Metaphorically.
they've all got
Skull and Bones.
dirt on each other. haven't
You've
they?
heard of them.
That's basically it, isn't it?
Skull and
It's-
Bones.
what's Skull and Bones. They do
Skull and
some-
Bones.
Skull
yeah.
and Bones, there's a few presidents have been through it, including the Bush.
and they have to have anal sex, don't they? They don't have to, but if they do, they're gonna go
And,
Is it all of the presidents? I believe all the presidents have been part of the Skull and Bones, if I remember rightly.
no, not all of them.
But I heard
Masons,
that there's
yes.
something about it.
Not the Skull and Bones.
If they partake in the actual act, they're gonna get further than if they don't actually
Well,
partake.
apparently
in the
they used to be
fun.
within the military, particularly good-looking lads that were pushed forward to be used, and they went straight up.
Cabin boys.
Well, that was used to be in the Navy, but
Well, that's
It's
why
a
I
bit
was
like
using
the
that.
Family Guy sketch. Sorry, it's a bit like the Family Guy sketch where they do the whole Skull and Bones thing. And I think if you watch Family Guy, you'll know what I'm talking about. And Carter has to go into a closet with who's a pedo out of Family Guy? What's his name?
Guy with the chin. Isn't it?
hey there,
Yeah, that's the one. And he has to go in. That's the one.
that's a fucker.
He has to go into the closet with him because he couldn't get somebody to join or something. But
What's
yeah,
his name?
It's
Granddad, isn't it? Almost.
So
It
I've
sounds
just got
quite.
that from
Hey
Mercy.
there.
That's where I got that from.
someone will tell us in the comments in a minute, but I can't
Well,
remember his fucking name. now.
Dave the Plant's voice is also the voice of
Yeah, him.
I don't watch Family Guy. I'm not 12 or a pedo.
Don't worry,
Doesn't
nor are
mean you're
we.
a pedo if you watch Family Guy. I watch Herbert. That's it.
Herbert the pervert.
Yes.
I watch it because it's edgy.
over here.
I watch it because it's edgy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the kind
Yeah, well,
of
I like to know what's coming up.
it's kind of comedy that that Jimmy Carr and that kind of comedy, and I enjoy that kind of stuff. I like really edgy stuff.
I like edgy stuff.
Edgy or edging?
Don't know. What's edging?
How long can I hang for?
Well, we'll leave that there then.
I don't know what that is. Is that hedging or edging?
Edgy.
As I told you,
Not
sweet,
H.
pleasant, naive.
Someone's gonna have to. Hang on. What's edging?
Someone will tell you. Don't worry. Someone will tell you in the comments.
Not now.
I had to look up
No.
docking once, and that was
Oh, fuck.
I've never been the same since. Yeah.
His computer, he never sent it back again. Anyway, look, let's just say that. Leave it.
Passing comment. While I was in the loo, I did hear what I thought.
Who's
was a
Lou?
Police helicopter.
My Lou.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I don't know if that's something to do with anything else, but
Yeah, our broadcasters brought about a
I
helicopter.
was like, fuck me. What's
Are you
that
sure you
going
just
on?
didn't have chronic wind?
Well, that's like tantric sex then. Isn't it?
Well, it's
He's
just,
so naive and he love him.
Well, I didn't know what it was, but I wasn't going to admit it until he'd found it.
That's my
It's
manager.
not up there with donkey punching. is
well,
it?
it's not too bad. I mean, it's it's
Well, a
not
donkey
exactly-
punch is obviously something that people do in the comfort of
Is
their own
this-
home.
Is this what the chat wants to hear?
No, it's not blue waffle
Well, they were-
level, but you know.
Oh,
Oh, of course.
so glad.
Power in the Philippines has commented. Of course, he has.
Well, in the
Oh,
Philippines,
fuck me, this is flat.
like you with me, like your missus. Anyway,
I need to get on the water after this one.
are you burning up?
Oh my god.
Oh, but
Oh, hang on.
There's a story in
Will you try some milk?
in topics I wouldn't mind bringing up.
Yeah.
It's the Labour MP, would-be Labour MP, was arrested outside Carlisle Hotel after planning to meet a 14-year-old.
Oh,
Another one.
And it's on, and by all accounts, it's like a sting-up. I haven't looked into it yet, but let me touch it.
Don't forget, vote Labour. Bring the country down.
Hang on. Well, unless you want
Could
to
be a
learn
video, there
Arabic.
could be a video of it. There's definitely photos.
Oh,
Options.
well, if anybody knows Sargon of Akkad's secretary, which is Callum,
I've got a great story for Callum.
you'll do that in a minute.
That's a very good story. We could even do it tomorrow, but it's a good story, that one.
Might drag it out. I like your style.
What about the
Tune in
mobile
tomorrow?
He's a
for
fucking tease, isn't he? Old
better
base.
stories than today.
What about the mobile scooter get caught carrying towing a caravan?
sorry.
was that Hamza?
Caravans
Was that,
getting
was
towed
that
by a
Hamza on
mobility
his
scooter.
holidays?
Well, is that one trying to hump a fucking caravan around a council estate? You fucking pikey cunt. I can say that because I've got pikey blood. But,
Do you want to go through that one on that? good at reading out. It's up to you, though.
Yeah, Matt is our auditor, isn't he?
Yeah.
Mine is about to die.
I can do reading and all that.
You know, I can
He
read
can
some
do
words,
reading as well, innit?
Gert
And I
Biggins, and
can
too.
Right, but that don't seem to matter.
Right, can try even. I can.
But your whole
Are we reading this
flat, innit?
Publandy one?
No.
Publand lady.
No, he wants the Labour one, I think.
Which one? This
Down.
one?
That way.
Right, so the French apparently have cleared
So we're
cleared
going
the
Labour
age
MP.
of pension
Yeah,
to
so
be
what do I click
to
there?
be heightened to
Yeah.
64. Apparently they've cleared it now.
I don't know how much battery we have.
So
Good
that's
life.
a waste of fucking protesting, wasn't it?
Well, to be honest, it was never going to happen, was it? I mean,
No. They were going ahead without the public anyway.
Well,
well,
yeah,
they
I'm just
didn't
saying, but-
ask.
but
Is it
still.
for correspondence or?
Sorry?
When you ask people's opinion, it's called something.
No. It's supposed to go through the Parliament, the French Parliament. and
Yeah,
voted
that's what
on.
I'm saying.
And he used a special nonsense to.
Consultation.
That's the
fuck it
word.
up.
It was consultation. But
It wasn't
With
constitutional.
no fucking.
no.
No,
What
they're
he's
supposed to.
saying is that it should have been consultation based. Stick with us.
Look, we know what's going to happen. It's the same
Basically,
thing as the
you
ULEZ,
ask the
isn't it?
people what do they want. It's a consultation, and they say yay or nay,
Same as
don't
the
they?
ULEZ shit. It's supposed
Yeah,
to have been a
but
consult-
he had to do that
consultation.
anyway, unless he pulled this special power out. Which he
It was never going to happen, was it?
It doesn't matter if they're.
But the reasons it was never going to happen was because they said
Well,
no thanks.
the reality is, I mean, it would be one of his more sensible decisions.
Closer.
Because,
Based closer.
64, I mean, 62, what it was. I mean, that's very, I mean, there's no, I don't think it's a developed country that's under 62.
Well, you can't call France developed anymore, can you?
No.
What is it now? I mean, we've got, I know first world and I know third world, but what would be second world?
That was like Russia, the Soviet Union, Eastern
Yeah.
Bloc, because it was just sort of unknown.
Right. Anywhere else? China? Maybe?
Well,
So,
parts, isn't it? China's so big, it's hard to get a thing.
so I'll ask you a question here now. Are there parts of this country that could be third world?
Yeah, of course. There's lots.
Bradford, Birmingham,
Derby, Slough.
Slough. Yes.
Is it-
Anyway, we've got a caller on, haven't we?
Yes.
Shit, man.
Oh, fuck
We've
me.
done it again, didn't we?
Yeah. We get so he gives us a load of conversation and we run away with it. We
Yeah,
go, he's there again.
We only know there's a caller on when he reminds
Well, the
himself.
phone goes dark, doesn't it?
Or we get that noise, which means
We need a red light cooler.
Yeah,
Right.
flashing.
Yeah. We're learning our craft here. You're helping.
I'll see if I can find the story. Anyway.
Hi, Tiff. Isn't it a nice one for you? Police for investigate Yorkshire Police.
Right, hang
oh,
on. Before we go
Lancashire
any
Police,
further,
sorry.
shall we ask
Oh,
the
yes.
caller?
Yeah.
Right, caller. Come on, you've got some more
Weird one,
questions.
bit weird
Get them
one.
off.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Have any of you caught up with the history of Mark Drakeford's son, Jonathan?
What, you mean the nons?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. We know about him.
You're not
Yeah.
allowed to say that. It's
Why
a
can't I?
minor attracted person.
A map? I can't read a map for fuck.
Yeah. It is his adopted son, I believe, but
Adopted.
yeah, even so,
No, that does make a difference, right? That means that the genes could have something to do with it. But I have to say that the parenting does go a long way.
Listen, even if you've got fucking wanky genes, right, you can still be brought up to be a decent, functioning member of society.
Yeah, ask Adolf Eichmann.
So if your example as a parent is a degenerate, then
Have a think about that. Anyway,
you could go either way, couldn't you? You could go the
I grew up in the Urals.
away from that and
Yeah.
be moral, or you could just
Urals.
go, well, what's the point?
Yeah, just go, this is normal.
I've got a story up on this
brilliant.
this
Labour.
MP.
Go
Shall I
on,
read it?
go on,
Okay,
go on,
sorry,
go on, go on.
It was the last story, but right. So, a local politician aspired to become Barrow MP was arrested outside a Carlisle hotel as he attempted to meet a person he believed was a 14-year-old boy, following sexualized online conversations. So, the business graduate, John Robert Reynolds, that's name and shame him, 43 years old, suffered what the judge said was a spectacular fall from grace after the encounter. Do you think the judge has got his fingers crossed as he's saying it? You know. Yes, I think
Can I just ask you, has anybody here got three names? like a middle name as
Yeah,
well?
yeah.
Yes.
Middle name, yeah.
You have. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. See,
I got given
that's just
one
fucking thrown
once by the
my
mail.
thing right out the window. Then.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
You knew that killed that,
it
yeah.
seems that all these people that do shit like that seem to have 3 fucking names.
I
But
got given a name by the post. They called me Simon Mycroft Evans. It's not my middle name, by the way, so I named the cat Mycroft. Well, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I think
Miser.
what you mean is rolling middle name, as in
As in Ponsonby
barrel,
Smythe.
I suppose double. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lady
yeah,
Amanda Shithouse Door.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
You're right,
Right.
Actually, yeah, that's what I should have said. Yeah.
Okay, so my mother used to call me South Paul. I don't fucking
in,
know.
like-
Simon Paul, Simon South Paul. I don't.
It's Paul.
South Paul. She was just being a cunt. Anyway, it worked. I used
Anyway,
to get
so I've just
confused.
taken you away from your
No,
story.
that's
there,
right.
sorry
Well,
about
we
that.
got the gist of it, basically.
Yeah,
He's a
so
fucking
Roger
nut.
Ponsonby Smythe
Yes.
the
right
third.
at the end
Yeah,
is
so let's just say his game. John Robert Reynolds, the 43-year-old, suffered spectacular.
Hang on a minute.
fall.
Is Robert Reynolds
Progress.
a decent name or is it just a
it
try?
goes on forever, but right at the bottom, the last 2
Oh, you
paragraphs,
got it, have you?
we'll kill
Go
him.
on, basically.
This is the first time he's trying to
But
hurry
it's
anything up.
It's sentences. Let's look at his sentencing, chap. He was imposed a 12-month
coat.
jail, suspended for 2 years, ordering the defendant must complete an accredited treatment program.
What does that mean?
Chop his cock off.
Right. Can I
Is that the accredited program
Can I
these
just say,
days?
Well, it would be
he's got
mine.
12 months suspended for what, 2 years?
Yeah.
I got 18 months suspended for 2 years for growing some weight.
Can I
And
just
there was
go
no
back
children
over that?
involved in
Exactly.
it.
What did this
Amen.
guy do? Because I missed the whole process while we were just taking the piss.
He attempted
got
to meet a
caught.
14-year-old.
Right, he was trying to nonce, right, a 14-year-old,
Yeah.
but because he's a Labour politician and he was trying to nonce,
Wow.
he walked, and he's still walking now, and he gets how long?
He 12 months suspended for 2 years. So nothing.
What about CS?
doesn't do a day in prison.
No, community service.
Yeah, he's got community service, so he's got to do an accredited.
How long?
Reynolds of St Winifred's Park, Holton, Lancashire.
Make a note of that.
Yeah, will be on the sex offender radar for a decade, just a decade.
Like, well, that wouldn't make a difference
And
anyway.
subject to a 5-year sexual harm prevention order. He must.
Is he still an MP?
No, he didn't become an MP.
No.
He tried to become.
Yeah,
was
but
candidate.
he was. He must also complete 20 rehabilitation active courses.
Lenient based. Anytime you're ready.
Basically, it's bollocks.
Yeah.
He's going to sit there and it's just going to be it's a bit like a speed awareness course, isn't it?
It's a waste of your fucking
Yes.
time.
It's just process it. Say you've been on the course and you went, yes, it's bad to try to have sex with children. Yes, it's bad.
Honestly, I won't do it again. What's
is,
that?
though,
Get
I mean-
caught.
The thing is, right, when I got caught growing that weed, right, it was about the potential yield, right? Because there was nothing there when they came round.
Just a plant.
When they came
Or
round, there was
plants.
nothing there. There was some seedlings, right? Don't tell anyone, but everything else had been hacked down the night before and
Yeah.
shipped off out.
We won't
But
tell
anyway,
anyone.
Wouldn't
Um,
dream of it.
But it's about the potential. But when they do you,
It's between you, me, and 453 others.
Yeah, that's right. They won't tell.
You tipped off.
So yeah, oh yeah,
Pissed
yeah.
off?
I'll explain. I'll explain off of the stream about what happened there anyway. But
Well, as long as you made a victory.
so they look at the potential yield, and then they work out a sentence based on the potential, right? So there was nothing there at that particular time
What you
that
could
could
have
have been
done.
smoked or anything like that.
So what
Nothing
was
at
your
all.
potential?
They said 100 grand.
Really?
Yeah.
Well
But
done.
the potential of this twat not being stopped before he went to meet this child could have been a child rape.
Yep.
But yet they've literally sentenced him on the fact that he had sexual communication, not about the potential that could have happened had he not been stopped in time.
And even then, only by a sting. So what he could have done before or after.
Bollocks.
Yeah, well, obviously. Oh, sorry.
Well on tap.
Got there eventually.
Yes. I mean, the thing is, they're soft on pedos.
Yeah.
They always are.
There's a story
because they
now.
are.
There's a story in topic.
My name's Pap. I'm going to grow some weed.
Should we go on to that story in?
We shipped out the last 100 grand, but never mind.
Well, she wants to move it on.
So we can move it on if you wanted to.
If we're boring you, let me know.
No, because you said they're soft on pedos.
They are
So So I thought it'd be a good time to bring up this.
Ignore the host. Get on with it. Yeah.
To bring up this article. A UK man who wrote on Facebook that a drag queen who performs to children was grooming them has been given a harsher sentence than 3 UK pedos who, between them, possessed tens of millions of images and videos of child abuse.
Yeah, but you see, the problem is having those videos and images isn't upsetting somebody's feelings. But when you tell somebody that they're a groomer, that's upsetting that person's feelings.
It's all about the feels.
Of course, there's a bigger penalty imposed.
So the person who was arrested, I think a couple of us will know him, is that Chris guy that was in Patriotic Alternative or whatever, all that shit.
I've got some information on that.
I can't really give his name out because they've given me that and I don't want to do it.
Oh, it's not in print as such in media. Out.
No, but if you're what you're talking about, that person, that thing's been done, dealt with, and it's out in print.
April the 12th. This was done.
It's in print. I could
Yes.
find out for you.
The protester who accused the drag form of grooming children
Had to
on
pay.
social- So basically, he has to pay as well.
Oh, hang on a second. I get some more information on that. If you like, 1 minute.
I mean, you should be outraged, shouldn't you? But
So Christopher,
just so
33, his right age, was among activists who protested outside the North Walsham Library last August, forcing the cancellation of the planned Storytime event.
Right, so he got
by drag queen Auntie Titiana Trust. Oh, that's a wholesome.
He got 150 hours community service. He got 20 days of rehabilitation, activity required, whatever that is, and £1,500 cost.
Yeah, it's nuts.
To the feelings of said thing.
Yeah, and because he had loss of earnings.
Isn't the rehabilitation on how not to get caught next time?
It was among the activists.
Unfortunately, Chris is not the kind.
What's the name, mind you?
You're sat in a chair with your eyes
Titiana.
fucking pinned open like that in front of a screen that shows you all sorts of
your wider
rainbow stuff, shall we say?
What, is that re-education?
Yeah.
I got a re-education pack when I was just before I left my last job. No,
you mean
because I upset them on the pride stuff, and I got sent a re-education pack so I could learn how wrong I was.
But to be a better human,
to be better.
Is that to be a complete conformist? Now, somebody said, right, and I should go through it because it was actually in general chat, wasn't it? The difference between kids is the ones that get left at school and the parents don't get involved are indoctrinated. The ones that are taught by the parents are educated, in theory, right?
Oh, yeah,
if your parents are old school, right? And in the old days, Dad used to say to me, he said, if you say the wrong thing, you upset people, you will be liable to whatever they do, right? You have to stand up for yourself if you believe what you say. You have to respect people above you. Why? Just because you do. My dad turns out to be, I would say, he did his best to go along with the system. He wanted the system. He was fed the same bullshit that we all were, right? And what he wanted to do was, if I go along with the system and I do what it asks me to, I should be rewarded. I should make money. I should build my business. Turns out it didn't work that way, but he worked his nuts off, right? And he looks at people like me, and he always said to me, he said, you'll never be anything. You'll be a failure like these people, right? But it turned out these people that he was pointing out to me actually became the winners in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I am. I haven't achieved anything they have, but yeah, whatever. But the point being here is he was sold the lie, the corporate bullshit, right? That we all were, right? That if you become a great consumer, if you literally all you want to do is grow up is it the ladder? It's the ladder, is it? It's the social ladder.
Social, yeah.
Yeah. So the point being is from the beginning until the end, what you've got to do is try to amass as much as possible and show that you've done well. The old man fell for it. I didn't. The people that
Probably me.
What?
Still carried on. That's all right.
About no, my breathing. It's getting to that point.
I thought it was
It's getting
it,
to
but
that
then he
point
moved away
now
from the
where-
mic and I could still hear it. So I carry on.
No, listen, you'll have all the girls.
What's
in
an
there
asthma
wetting
clinic here?
themselves.
How you feeling, son?
This is a
better.
good story for tomorrow evening.
Are you retarded?
Yes,
No.
a little bit.
So, are you saving the spices for tomorrow?
Well, no, I'm just.
Of course, you look at he's a little slut, isn't he? You see that? Yeah. You almost give it a
because
maybe,
you mentioned that some children are standing up and speaking up. Certainly not being indoctrinated. And a Canadian school this week.
Oh, yeah.
This week they stood up against it. They stood up against the indoctrination and the nonsense and the degeneracy. And they told everyone to go fuck themselves, and it was quite good.
Yeah,
very good,
very
excellent.
Very, and they were all
and
young
some kids
people,
were
and
like-
they give interviews and everything. They sounded really good.
Yeah, they'll all be dead soon.
There was a
that
story
fun?
today or yesterday about some lad had recorded a teacher in a school, and he was it was about all this LGBT stuff, and his lad turned around and he was like, look, only two genders or whatever it was he said. And he said, I don't, this is rubbish. I don't want to learn this. And apparently the teacher turned around and basically said, and the lad recorded it apparently, basically said, you will fucking learn it. And if you don't, there's going to be fucking consequences for you. Wow. And this is supposed to have been recorded as well. But I've not heard it recorded.
Right. I'll say this now, and this could cause me problems. In the old days, people would say stuff and they get battered because they were so outrageously wrong or so rude or so being such obnoxious cunts, right? Now, as we progressed to where we are now, we were told that if anybody acts on their inherent emotions, their inherent traditions, or whatever it is, they would be punished, right? If you're white. Yeah. Now, it's got to the point where anybody white now will just look the other way and just think, I just got to get through today, right? Now, the opposition, the cunts that were doing this, right, worked out that they could get away with murder and there'll be no comeback, right? What we're dealing with now is a bunch of people who think they're immortal and that they could chastise us, punish us, whatever. Now, in a few years' time, law and order is going to break down, and these people that think they're protected by the system will end up getting battered by the people that they're trying to keep down. And I can't fucking wait for that to happen.
Still got someone on the phone?
I believe we have somebody still on the phone.
But the justice system in this country is broken beyond belief. I mean, I got 8 months in prison
Go on.
for a sarcastic remark on the internet.
You're joking.
Well, that would teach you for being sarcastic.
Yeah, being on point. It doesn't pay, does it? So how long ago was that?
Well, this was back in 2018, 2019. I was the target of political persecution by a number of Antifa groups, by the broadcaster Ian Lee.
Yeah, that's the guy that who the fuck went after him?
Belfield.
Yes, Alex Bell.
Hang on a
Belmarsh.
second. Ian Lee's such a mince.
Alex Belmarsh went after him.
Yeah.
He did. Yeah, I remember that. So,
yeah, carry on, caller.
Sorry.
So you hang on.
Yeah.
So just your words, and you got
8 months
of your life.
Well,
taken from you.
actually, I had 10 charges against me.
what of just taking a piss?
6 of them were for quote unquote stirring religious hatred.
So you
Which the
you pointed
media-
out anomalies then.
which the media falsely claimed was stirring racial hatred, because the media are so dumb they can't tell the difference between a religion and a race.
Well, you've just seen religion, or not religion, the media get taken apart by what's his name?
Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I can't believe how lucky you are. I've been trying to post some of that edgy shit for ages to get a knock on the door from the police for a video, and no fuckers ever come round to see me.
Right place, right time, I guess.
It was absolutely horrible, and to this day, I have people falsely accusing me of being a racist, an anti-Semite, a Nazi, a paedophile, even. I mean, these people are absolute scum, and they're hypocrites. And they're the sort of people who write articles on their websites about how we need to dox our political opponents, and yet when someone releases their personal details on zero.
Sorry, caller. We got no sound in the chat. Nothing.
What it does, it muted itself there for some reason. Right.
Okay.
Is it unmuted now?
Okay. Chat. Can you give me a 5 times 5 if you can hear the sound, please?
That's why somebody put.
Yeah, it's better. Yeah. We're back. Sorry, caller. We're back now. Okay.
Sorry, but there was zero evidence of any racism. I could justify and explain everything that I did according to moral principles, and yet they went after me and tried to destroy me. And I think part of the reason was because I have a bit of a public profile, because I've gone after some high-profile lefties like Matt Ford, Hillary Clinton.
Nothing small there.
Go careful there.
You know, she's got a body count that follows her, just saying.
You'll find yourself walking off the edge of a cliff.
You'd be Arkansas-sided.
Shoot 2 in the chest.
Boys on the track.
1 in the head before you
Well,
The left-handed shot in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
You surely heard about Swansea University getting their School of Law sponsored by Hillary Clinton.
No, I didn't know about Swansea with that. No.
Yeah,
they did the whole video where she's running or something like that, and she's heading up a class on international law or something like that. Is that it? Is that what you're on about?
No. I was there at the grand opening when she turned up, and I called her a fascist and got reported on in Breitbart. And
he's minty, and I like him.
What I can't understand is, why did Swansea University spend so much taxpayers' money paying a woman to use her name for their School of Law when she failed the Washington bar exam, the second easiest bar exam in the US, and just barely passed the easiest bar exam in America, which was in Arkansas?
Yeah, it's quite appealing, the fact that woman could fail so badly and yet has been a solicitor that's earned millions.
Many hundreds of millions? Or?
Yeah. I mean, obviously for showing up and saying the right thing at the right time, allegedly. However, she does have a numerous amount of people that used to work for her that are now slightly dead.
Deceased.
Yeah, before the time, I believe.
Slightly deceased.
Completely normal for at least 73% of the people 73 people that you formerly worked with dying. It's normal.
What if you're JFK?
Well, sadly, I know a good friend of mine committed suicide about 9 months ago, and
forced into it.
Well, he hung himself. There was no fucking going back. And I don't know anyone else who's committed suicide, but the Clintons seem to have fucking lots of people.
Well, when you commit suicide, you generally use the hand that you don't usually use and shoot yourself twice in the back of the head, because that's the standard procedure.
Oh yeah, or that you use a rifle that you won't be able to. Like,
Or you do yourself in muddy territory and there's no footprints of you making your way there.
Be like Dr. Kelly and the missing blood.
Well,
Yeah.
there wasn't any blood because
Yeah.
he was dead before he committed suicide.
We talk about Hillary's body count. What about Blair's body count? John Smith, Diana, David Kelly, Robin Cook.
Oh, sorry,
Those
you're
are just
talking about the
we
ones
know.
at home. I was going to say, because further afield, there's a few more than that, isn't there?
You say John Smith. What John Smith, who was the leader of the Labour Party?
Yeah, he went up a
haven't
hill
heard-
and didn't come back down.
Oh, I did. No idea.
Same with Robin Cook. He went up a hill and never came back down.
Robin Cook fit as a fiddle, but he resigned on the eve of the war.
Yeah.
Who reckons Bridging will be next?
Who?
Bridging.
Yeah. Well, he's come out and said he's not suicidal, hasn't
He did. He
Just
said
so you know, I'm
if-
fit and healthy and I don't want to
yeah,
kill myself.
If you find my body, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
Not that that'll make a difference because the paper. will
Oh,
spin
like it cares.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd
Our,
find
our government now shits on you and tells you that it's not poo. It's like pissing on you and saying that it's raindrops, isn't it? What do you want to call it? I don't know.
Drops keep falling.
It's like the story you read out earlier on. It's like the
I'm not hitting you.
It's like the clown world we're living in. You know, a guy expressing his free speech, right?
All over you.
Gets more gets more of a sentence.
You carry on. I'm going
right,
to get some crisps.
Than a nonce. Yet they're defending a drag act that is called Titiana Trust.
Yeah, something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like.
You got the Titiana bit right.
Yeah, the Titiana, yeah, and it's Titiana Trust. I try and work out the logic in it. But what I'm fucking is that they're defending someone with a name like that, reading stories to children.
It's enough to drive
Boom.
absolutely
But it's
nuts.
fucking brave and stunning. And what are you bigot? You fucking bigot! How dare you?
It's infuriating when you see it, but it's more infuriating that other people don't see it, and that is the one that just it's like. Come on.
I find it
When
more
you-
infuriating when you've told them and then they come back to you saying, "Oh, have you seen this? Yeah, I told you that. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Hang on a fucking minute.
Told you fucking months ago, you mug.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I absolutely despise the media and their agenda. I've been on the receiving end of their lies.
Yeah. I mean, you've
And
had it
I've seen other
worse than most
people on the receiving end of their lies, and it and I just want to get back at them so much. I want to get back at every bloody tabloid hack. I want to see them swing from lampposts.
Yeah, I mean, call it. I've said it. Regular viewers on our streams will know that Welshie says this on a regular. This is your civic duty to disrupt mainstream media at any opportunity you can. Now, there's many ways of doing that without making a total cunt of yourself. I mean, I did it D-Day. I did it D-Day, the 75th anniversary of D-Day. Me, Rev, the Reverend Mother, and Trigger went to Plymouth. And who did we see on the fucking wall? Cade Burley and Sky fucking News, isn't it? And I thought about it, and I could see her on the news, and I was like, oh yeah, I know, 100 foot away, going, oh. I was like, fuck it, gotta do something. And I just went, mainstream media, enemy of the people. Just walked. She went, thanks.
I had something like that back in 2014. Farage was coming to Swansea, and we were waiting for him, and some old man with a dog was coming up to the UK representatives and was going, excuse me, do you realise you're racist? And I just savaged this guy. I called him a cultural Marxist. I told him to bog off back to Frankfurt, because that's where all the cultural Marxists come from. And I had all these journalists toddle around me, and when they interviewed me, I denounced Asmin Alibi Brown for being a vicious tyrant who wants to take away people's free speech because a couple of days earlier, I saw an interview that Channel 4 did with her about how UKIP shouldn't be allowed to have a platform.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't even know whether they'd even give you the interview now.
Some of the left-wing responses to my little verbal rearguard action were hilarious. Someone was comparing me to Mussolini because of the grey coat I was wearing, and I just replied to them, I didn't know Mussolini was a member of the RAF because it was an RAF grey coat. They're so ignorant of history.
Yeah.
And the main reason I rang in is because I absolutely loathe and detest people like James O'Brien and his feral, racist, hypocrite followers. I mean, the stuff that they've been coming out with against Kemi Badenoch and Suella Braverman, saying that, they hate their own race because they side with whitey. I was reading all this crap, and I thought, just because you guys hate your own race doesn't mean that these women hate their own race. It's just the toxic anti-white hatred. The fact that they go around and say, white people don't get to decide what's racist, and then they turn around and decide what's racist.
No, I do, because I'm a cunt. I'll decide what's racist.
Braverman's a racist, and then someone compared Braverman to the Coopers from Goodness Gracious Me. As if to, but this is the thing about the Coopers. They assimilated. They tried to fit in. They didn't impose their way of life on other people. They tried to fit in. Yeah, maybe they took it a bit too far. That was what made it so funny. They took it so far, but they didn't impose their culture on us. They tried to fit in, and they weren't like the white supremacists who were going around being racist to non-whites either. To use that innocent, wholesome sketch to attack Braverman shows you that the left they have no history, they have no sense of context. I just absolutely can't stand them. I think anyone to the left of Ayn Rand is morally suspect.
The thing is, it's actually very simple, really. If any of us here in this room went to UAE, we'd have to follow their rules. We'd have to behave in a way that they want us to behave, not in a way that we want to behave. We would have to behave in a way that they want us to behave. We would have to,
no sex on the beach.
Well, there is that, yeah.
No blowjobs in the back of cabs, because otherwise you get arrested.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
That's what happened to a British couple.
Yeah.
They
So I mean, don't get me wrong.
Sucking cock in the back of a taxi.
Don't get me wrong, but getting a blowjob in the back of a cab isn't.
I love your.
It's not really ideal anywhere.
Well, yeah, especially in like Dubai or somewhere, eh?
But no, it is very simple as far as I'm concerned. Right, we go to various other places, and we have to, especially if you go there to live, not necessarily on holiday, but even on a holiday, there are strict restrictions on you. You go somewhere to live, and you have to follow the rules of their country, not the rules that you want to follow. And if you don't, then you're in shit. But but here, and again, I've got no issues with people coming over here, providing that they become. And it's hard for me to say because I'm not exactly a productive member of society at the moment.
Go on, son, get off your fucking plate. What was the name of that? What was the name?
People come over and they're gonna contribute to society. People want to come over and contribute to society, and well, you're all going to do it. You fucking assimilate and
yeah.
No issues with that at all.
Drop litter in Singapore and see what happens.
Yeah. If ever I go to Dubai, I'm going to visit the Christian church that's there. Oh, hang on.
Yeah, exactly my point. Exactly my point.
Not enough of them there, is there?
But people just don't. But people are so busy attacking and beating down on people for not.
Well, we were saying earlier about the decline of an empire. This is the decay.
Yeah.
You get to a point and then you just start attacking yourself.
Do you know
And
what?
that's
Every
what's been-
generation blames one before.
Every generation.
It won't be long before these fuckers, not you guys, by
That's
the way,
good.
watching, but it won't be long before some people
the truth is-
will actually have to sit there and look very hard in a fucking mirror. and
I
go,
don't
"Hang on a
know as I
minute."
can blame the previous generation of me as much as I can blame mine because
I blame the one before us more than ours.
well, that's
Yeah,
standard.
because they had the absolute sweet spot. You've got the job for life. That they're able to buy houses at ridiculously cheap.
If there was
and
one
then-
thing you could have stopped, what would it be? If
Tony
you
Blair.
could, no,
You should be
I would
monetising
have
people.
stopped Oppenheimer or that ilk.
that was the atom bomb, Oppenheimer. But you just stop. What? So we'll just let normal hot wars carry on then, without the threat of nuclear war.
No more nuclear war. And if we kept the hot wars going,
I'd say would.
Yeah, but we could be eating sushi now if it hadn't been for that.
I like sushi.
Oh,
no, they weren't far off losing anyway. And by the way, we weren't the Americans.
no, I'm just.
They did a really good job in Vietnam, didn't
I'm
they?
joking. I'm joking. I'm not being racist or xenophobic, by the way.
Right.
Allegedly.
No, if I could have stopped,
place to put that.
but that was something that they kept over us for 50 odd years. The nuclear Armageddon. There was a guy, and he was an advisor to many different.
Tony Blair. Get rid of Tony Blair.
Oh yeah, line me up. I'm first in line. Reg Cheese has nothing on me and my hatred of Blair.
Is he slightly Welsh?
So we wouldn't have gone to war, right? We wouldn't have got the influx that we get. Correct?
He did make that.
Yep. So Blair.
I suppose.
But I would like to.
I suspect that Blair himself is an immigrant.
But I'm saying that nuclear war helped to build globalism.
Give me a chance to ponder on it.
Here's the thought, right? Just bear with. I'll give you a quick sum, right? Before we could go to any continent and create war by humans, right? What have you got there? Oh, your chocolate biscuits. Is it? He's trying to quietly. Mate, I'll turn your mic down. There you go. No, it doesn't really work because everybody else is hearing it anyway. Right. Shake out the biscuits, sunshine.
Comment.
You filth.
All right. Well, we've still got a caller, but there's a.
How many did you take?
One each. And he was moaning that we took one each.
I haven't had one.
Oh no, it's me and Pat.
I only have one.
Someone in the comments, I know we've got a caller on.
Go on.
Said,
I know we've got a caller, yeah.
What do we think of the Tate twins?
I mean, I'm glad they're out. What's the latest? That they've been released, yeah? That they're remanded in.
I don't know what the
I
latest
think,
is. I know
I think
they're
they're in house arrest, is it, or something like that? I don't particularly like them,
But he read the Quran while he was in, apparently, because I heard him say that.
I'll just say globalist shill.
he did. He was particularly based though when he came out.
Do what?
You've been converted now.
Well, yeah, he converted, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's
And,
a
he hadn't done the research on what happened
Right.
when he tried to not.
I
be
think
president.
he's as much a free thinker as fucking Jordan Peterson is. Right?
Yes, I don't like what they do, but I think their message is good. Most of,
I think their message stirs up
But
trouble
they're
just the way it's meant to.
They're encouraging young men to be pimps, which is, I don't think Jordan Peterson is encouraging young men to be
No,
pimps.
Jordan Peterson rewrote the European Union rules, right? And he is a Marxist, right?
I don't know he's a Marxist.
Well,
I don't.
I could show you some really interesting stuff about him right now. Anyway, we'll do
Still
that
got a
after
caller.
this.
But anyway, yeah, still a caller. But yeah,
Right,
caller. What
will
do you
you
think
call
of
her,
the,
right?
the Tates? What do you think of the Tates?
I don't think the Tates are any good myself, by the way. But I do like the fact that they said the other end of the conversation.
Yeah, I do
that
like
nobody was
a
saying.
lot of their stuff.
Yeah,
they
that's what I
say.
mean. Some good, some bad. But what do you reckon, caller, on the Tates?
The worst thing that you could do to the Tates is turn them into martyrs.
Yeah.
The martyrs can never be silenced. And that was actually mentioned in my court case that I had said in police interview that martyrs can't be silenced.
Yeah, usually they just destroy the character nowadays, don't they? That's the
Yeah, but look what they're doing to Trump. They're turning him into a martyr.
Yeah, same
And
with Tommy.
To quote a certain Star Wars character, if you strike them down, they shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
But you didn't. You got to do the voice. If you strike me down, I'll become more powerful.
If you strike me down now.
Is he from the valleys?
I accidentally.
I'll become more possibly powerful than you could possibly imagine,
I
innit?
slipped into a Welshman. Whoops.
I'll get more vouchers and gyros than you could possibly imagine.
If I try to do it, if you strike me down, I will become more powerful than you ever imagine. How was that? I did it better.
Bruddy!
Matt just slipped into a Welshman. He
Yes.
said.
I know. Just I didn't pick up on that.
Hello, Liberty, by the way. I'm getting shout outs.
Yeah. It's true, the martyr thing.
But, as well.
But usually, I think the thing with Tommy, I think they did such a character assassination on him that, you know, he's never going to, he'll never come back properly. Did I do something wrong?
No, I'm just saying they did a character assassination, did they?
Well, Tommy, yes, I would say so.
Mm.
Yes. They lied about him constantly and made him out to be the most evil person in the country.
He's not a racist.
No, he's not, no.
Right.
No, he really isn't. I think he's, you know.
Nigel Owen.
Who?
T. Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
The Lord of Voldemort.
TR. No, he's not.
Can I have one more biscuit, please?
Of course, of course he isn't racist.
No.
I've heard he's got colour TV.
So did he not, pal?
He also had a coloured,
You do need to
coloured
see
man
the
as his
table,
best
right?
man at his wedding.
Yeah, you know that stupid comment people say, like they'll say, like, it's like, oh, well, saying you've got black friends is something that a racist would say. So no, it isn't, because you wouldn't have black friends if you were racist. It's so stupid. They used to call Milo racist. So he married somebody he hated. It's the most stupid.
Yeah.
It's the most stupid thing.
He married a
Retarded
black
thing.
guy.
So, yeah. But yeah.
In the 50s, anybody who disagreed with the thing was going to be called a communist in America. And their opinion, no matter how valid it was going to be discredited because they were being discredited by the system. We have that now. During the 80s, if somebody spoke about, say, for instance, we'll take, for instance, the miners' strike, or you could take Northern Ireland, or you could take all these different things. If you didn't go along with the system, then you'd have a think tank come out. And by the way, we used to listen to think tanks a lot more then than we did now, right? It would come out and just character assassinate these people, and that'd be it. They'd be done. Now,
Well, the most powerful weapon is propaganda.
now we have social media, right? So many people who get character assassinated carry on social media as little heroes. Problem is, what we actually get now is little people who cannot be trusted, who get character assassinated and then stand up and we believe are good, that end up not being so good. So in the old days, we had 4 channels, didn't we?
On the telly.
Until 1986 or 85, was it, when they brought out Channel 5?
Oh, no, Channel 5 was later. Channel 5 was in the 90s.
Can you remember? I remember it was
Spice Girls were involved in the
1,
launch.
2, and 3. Channel 4 came out in 82.
Yeah, about 82. So Channel 5 would have been the 90s. It
Right.
would have been late 90s.
Right. Well, anyway, up until that point, there are 4 channels that are regulate. And we couldn't speak amongst ourselves. But now it is that bad that they have to fill the market full of propaganda, which a lot of it's truth, but some of it's bullshit. And you just don't know where you're coming to go, do you?
Well, yeah, there's so much. That's what I mean. It's so confusing. It's like earlier on, we're looking through news headlines and you're going, don't know, could be true. Have you? Do you have the energy and the wherewithal to deep dive?
I read everything and I
you
see
do,
everything on mainstream media, and I judge it as a lie
Until it can be proven true.
Yeah, I literally judge everything as not true.
What was the first thing that made you realize that they could be lying about stuff? Me, it was JFK.
Let me think.
Because I was into my history.
I was really, really normie until not that long ago. So I didn't give things much thought.
Same.
I think
With me-
I think it was the Tommy stuff actually that really woke me up on the lies. Oh, nice one. Loafers just
yeah, you might be right there for me as well.
£5
You might be,
donation.
you might be right for me.
Which one? Which one's with you?
TR. Mushy the bullshit.
Because it was I remember first seeing one of his videos come up, and I was like, oh, this guy. I was like, oh, I've heard about this guy. He's dodgy. And then I watched it, and I was like, okay, right. It sounds like they're, going after him.
Remember Glyn? Glyn said, Tommy is not what you think he is. I went, he's a racist, isn't he? Because that was what I was told.
Yeah.
I was so mainstream, if you
he
like.
took it. So that.
But
was,
even
that
at
was
that,
for me.
even at that time, I was looking into conspiracies about, say,
Yeah.
for instance, we looked at the Kennedy assassination. I went, the sun didn't fit right there. And I'd looked at the Gibraltar where they took out the Irish terrorists, and I went, that didn't add up.
There was lots of things.
Then I looked at the Falklands, and I went, there was something else going on there. And I went through a load of stuff. But yeah.
But I think there was lots of things that like you said, JFK, Gibraltar, and like Dr. Kelly.
Well, no, that was
Dr. Kelly was quite a big.
Do you remember?
And, now we're talking about it. The 45 minutes. That was quite a big thing. But what done it for me, a bit like you, it was more personal with the Tommy bullshit. It was like
you had to sit for yourself.
Because I was ahead of the curve in the sense that I was watching it all real time, and then you see the character assassination, just continuously nonsense and bullshit. And whether Tommy's an angel, which he's not, and he's a fucking idiot sometimes. That's beside the point. It's just fucking lies. Mainstream media are the enemy of the people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it was Tommy, and then obviously the Trump thing as well.
Yeah.
So that was a similar time,
2016,
and at the beginning of it.
on.
And at the beginning of it, I was seeing they're lying about Tommy, but I believed him about Trump because I still was not,
fully. Right. Do you remember watching the? I don't know why. I watched the TV and the first Arab in it. Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right. I watched the second one, get it on.
Game over.
Oh, I just went, this is biblical. I have no idea how bad this is, but I know this is going to be horrendously bad.
And then you had the Patriot Act. And anyone who hears the term the Patriot Act might think, well, that sounds all right, doesn't it?
They give bad.
Well, they're looking after us.
Yeah. It's like the fucking completely the opposite.
Right. All I knew is we were having the reporting going on. The first one a minute, the second one a minute. The second one went down first, and the first one went down second, didn't it? Right? As I remember it, right? Now, we're watching the news. It's an interesting thing when that happens, isn't it? Yeah. Someone's haunted. And
marry that ghost.
They were saying that Building 7 had to go down.
Yeah.
And we're all watching Building 7.
BBC, 20 minutes.
Anyway, I watched that and I had time to process that. And I didn't ask people questions because I was interested in history and I was like trying to put it together. And then we had 7/7. Now, the first thing I heard was there had been an electrical explosion on an underground station in London. I was like, well, I've worked on the underground. I know that, they run 750 volts direct current. Well, it's DC, not V. Anyway, so I realized that if something walked into the way, there could be an explosion. Right? Put it this way: if you're working on the railway and your shovel touches that, it will blow about 30 foot into the air, and you'll have a mushroom cloud of dust and electric that goes up, and it could knock 3 people back. So I realized, I was thinking, yeah, this is a possible thing. So it was an electrical explosion, then it was an explosion, then there was a situation, and everything got changed. What I did was I listened to that, and I listened to the reporting on the Gibraltar incident, and I listened to the reporting on other incidents that happened in Northern Ireland. I listened to the reporting on the incident that happened at Brighton bombing.
Oh, yeah.
And I listened to other reportings, and I was like, there's a pattern emerging here. And it's inconsistency. All right. And what we're getting is, I can't believe that the media is that shit. What I'm getting is that they're mopping up and they're telling us what they want us to hear rather than what we're actually
driving the narrative. Is what
So
they're
I
still
just
doing.
put 7-7 in, and yeah, it's just mainstream media on YouTube.
Right. There was a guy called
I can literally
Pfizer Consultants.
I could
right?
scroll so far back. Sorry, and just to point out, it's like AP News and BBC again. You keep on going, and it'd be the same again. Telegraph. So AP. So once again, you cannot get any alternative to the narrative. It's all been wiped
Pfizer
clean.
Consultants and
It's all left YouTube.
And
It's
they
gone.
still haven't had a proper inquiry.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah.
So
because
so history is now formed. It's now just settled. They're settled on it, and that's it.
So
No questioning.
Pfizer Consultants 77 were a group that were going to give a publicist group a demonstration on how to deal with terrorism attack. Why would you have that? Why would a publicist need it? Why in London? And incidentally, why on the same day that 7/7 happened? Why was it they were planning the exact same thing a year ago with Michael Porcello saying that if the BBC don't broadcast what we want them to, we'll pull them? Interesting to note. And the BBC were reporting on 3 train accidents and a lorry accident with a chemical spill above ground. Anyway, a year later, turns out that 3 train explosions and a bomb above subsurface.
And this was helped to prompt our entry into the war, right?
But the interesting thing to note was when we were listening to it live, they said, we've just got to Canary
caller,
Wharf
don't forget.
and 3...
Yeah,
Sorry, I'll be there with you in a second. 3 terrorists were killed in Canary Wharf. That report only went out once. Now, there were 3 actors that came down from up north to help. They were the ones that got killed in Canary Wharf. Anyway, back to you, caller, mate, because at the end of the day, you've spent a lot of time there.
Yeah, well, so we were, I don't know where we were last talking, but basically, yeah, none of us believe anything we hear in the media.
Nom noms.
That's all.
Yeah, I lost faith in the media when I was 12, and they kept trying to tell me that the sun shone out of Tony Blair's backside.
Yeah. I mean, if I was up to my neck in water in my house and the BBC came on and said it's raining, I'd be like, I'm not sure about that. I'm going to go outside. I'm going to check.
Yeah, but I along the lines of what you were just talking about, I had this paralegal friend, and back in the Brexit campaign during 2016, we were talking about the campaign, and I was saying to him, I don't think we're going to leave. I think it's going to be 60-40 Remain. But I'll tell you this. If Leave is 5 to 10 points ahead in the opinion polls before the final week, there's going to be some kind of false flag terrorist attack that's going to scare people into voting Remain. I was thinking it'd be something like the Madrid train bombing in 2004, that someone would blow up a train in Birmingham or something to scare people. And then about a week before the referendum, Leave was about 8 points ahead in the opinion polls. And then these rumours start coming in over Twitter about, an MP's been attacked up north. And it began to dawn on me. I was right. I think that what happened in Batley and Spen, I think that was an inside job. I really do.
Was that the Sarah Cox? Is that her? Yeah. There was.
Hang on, that was the right wing thing, wasn't it?
There was a YouTube channel I used to watch called Rich Planet. A quite rich organizer, and he
that's a Geordie guy that did the and he was right.
Well, he was talking about basically, yeah.
The guy that got accused of it was not even in the place at the same time. It didn't look the same, and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Oh, you fucker! Can I just? I've been reading some of the comments there. Can I just mention about this emergency alert thing? We went through this on my channel, I think last week or the week before, and I showed the settings on an Android. And somebody else mentioned how to do it on an iPhone, but you do have an app on your phone which can be uninstalled. But there is also now, with the recent updates, there is also a system setting which can't be deleted, which is to do with the emergency broadcast.
You can just turn it off.
How do you know if we've got it on there?
Right, see if I can remember how to do this. So you go to
Right,
settings.
everyone follow along at home.
Yeah, I
This is on an Android.
Did it on mine about 3 days ago.
So you go to settings.
Right, hang on, I'll do it now. Will you? Right.
Who's on an Android?
I'm an Android, yeah.
So you go to settings.
Yeah.
Scroll down to safety and emergency.
So you might get there a different way. I have to get there a different way.
Safety and emergency.
Or if you've got a search, look for emergency or safety or something
Right,
like that.
yeah.
So
SOS.
safety and emergency. You've got emergency wireless emergency alerts.
Hang on. Emergency location service, earthquake.
Emergency SOS.
alerts.
I've got that switched on.
So
Well,
it might be
get it
named
all off.
slightly different.
No,
On
no.
it. So you've got the earthquake alerts and emergency alerts. Emergency
Off.
alerts.
Yep.
Okay,
So
so yours is switched on. So if you turn that off,
check what that does. They're all off there.
right? So mine's on. That's mine off. Okay, mine's been off since since I turned it off.
Right, Matt.
But there is also
Not Matt. Sorry.
emergency wireless
Have a look.
emergency.
Have a look. Go through and see what I've got on mine.
Yeah, wireless emergency alerts, very bottom, and yours is switched off.
Yeah, well, I went through that, but there was an SOS thing on there.
But if you go back to search, if you go to search for programs or applications, and you search that for emergency,
Applications.
Don't update your phone.
I think it was emergency anyway. Emergency.
I haven't updated my phone since 2017.
Was it? Yeah, somebody else can remember. Was it emergency or something else? There was.
Yeah, there was two of them. There was two options. There was. So I said, "Fuck off" to the both of them.
And that's for a separate app, which when you open it, it shows different settings to what you've just seen in the settings.
Right, so I've just searched emergency.
So try the emergency alerts one.
See what it lights up as. Off.
There you go. So
Right, okay, so that's the same one. Go back. Try the other one. Save for emergency. There you go. Slide. Hang on. Oh no.
that's just the page before.
That's the one before. There's a different one because I've done this.
There's two emergencies. There's like a real red alert warning. There's an amber one. And I was like, no.
I can't remember what the fuck it was called.
I mean, can you imagine getting a red warning saying you have half an hour to hide in
I wouldn't give a fuck if I got it.
in a bush.
Just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Basically, you've got an emergency.
A red
alert,
warning is
which
you've run out of coffee.
Yeah.
You've got emergency alert that's built into
That's really
your
serious, mate,
Android
shit, yeah.
system or your operating system on your phone.
I run, you know.
You need loo roll.
You have run out of Rizzler.
There's also an app one as well.
Is that the same for the iPhone?
Or something.
Yeah.
I believe there is two on the iPhone as
There
well.
are two, but
Yeah.
the two I've got are an extreme alerts at the bottom of there.
You've got severe alert and
no,
extreme alert, which is
Anyway.
wired.
Yeah, no.
Cooler.
That's built into your.
I think the
operating
paranoia is
system.
there. I
There's
think
another
they've
one
all got rid of
there's
it.
an update on your phone which is installed an app.
I haven't updated it yet.
don't do updates. That's the way. Fuck updates.
I'll have to go back on my
Suck my
on my
balls.
video
Yeah,
and look at it again.
Updates are there.
Right.
I'm not done them.
This thing does updates without me asking it to do it.
Well, this is
I turn it on the morning. It says your updates have been
yeah.
done
So
successfully.
I woke up.
Change your settings.
I swear to you now, right?
Samsung.
This phone started updating on its own the other day, and I caught it. It was like a 25 minutes they wanted to update, and I caught it about 5 in, and I was like, "Stop!" And it kept that off from me. We're halfway through, and I was like, "Well, I want to know how the fuck you started going."
With an iPhone, it's go to settings, go to notifications, scroll to the bottom, and it's on there. Emergency alerts.
Now,
There's
I'm
two in there
thinking,
turned off.
given the fact that all of our channels are in the mud,
It probably pest you.
so given the fact that all of our channels are in the mud,
So you'll
so
get
we
to
go and
read
hunt
through
out
the-
some other
through the
ones. And
change log and all that
Nice
stuff
one, Dan.
first.
Thank you, mate.
I can't hear you really.
what about the international pub? How's that doing tonight? Oh, it's tomorrow night, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tomorrow night. 12 o'clock start as well.
And like I said, ultimately, I couldn't give a fuck if they do set it off. I'll just chuck it in the bin for 20 minutes or whatever it is, and I get it back out again. Even if one of my kids have got it, because that's normally what happens. Anyway,
Oh, we're
caller.
doomed. Is that what we got from this evening? We're doomed.
Caller's still there?
There's hope still.
We're not doomed yet, but anyway, the caller is still there.
Still,
I
Right.
can get off if you want.
Yeah, no, we're going to get another one on now because
Yeah. Thanks for
You've
putting up
exhausted
with
us.
me for so long, and
That's all right. And,
keep
well,
up the good work.
thanks.
And you take care, Pap, in particular.
Thanks for calling in, caller.
Yeah, I mean, and tell you what, well done for keeping your chipper up, mate,
Yeah.
after being
You
fucking
guys-
going inside for 8.
Giving us a lot of content.
that was an hour and 8 minutes. That poor bugger was stuck with us.
I
Was
will just for anybody that's watching.
Chat
I
loud.
will. I'll go back through my live streams this week and find
That's loyal.
the section that I went through how to turn off your emergency alarms, and I'll cut that and I'll put that in its own video and upload it onto the channel. So,
Jesus Christ.
Cool. Somebody donated, didn't they? You saw it.
Yeah, Loafer
Well-
Sheffield chucked in a £5. Thanks, Loafer.
Cool.
He said, give it to Matt.
Oh, and I can't necessarily stand the Beatles either. It's just a cheap shirt. That was all. Somebody mentioned.
It was funny. Someone
Hello.
Oh, have a
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Oh, I'd say living the dream, but I'll be a lying cunt. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I was wondering about what do you think about this Ukraine business?
What a load of bollocks.
Bullshit. Next.
What do you mean?
Well,
how many have
actually,
you got staying with you?
what do you want me to say? That it's a legitimate war and the Ukrainians deserve the right to whatever and that they've never done anything wrong?
Oh no, I believe they're a corrupt country. I mean, most post-Soviet states are, aren't they?
What about the Nazi background? What about the fact that after the Second World War, the amount of fucking people they hid? What about their tendencies? Incidentally, what about all the Russians that they persecuted for the last since 2014?
Well,
at least?
basically, yeah, because that war started in 2014 with a coup, which is
The Euromaidan coup, yeah.
Yeah.
Coup.
Okay.
You wouldn't want to get that word wrong, would you?
It's. I mean, caller.
Just saying from a-
It's a total shit show, and I'm sure you're well aware. I mean,
Well, Russia are gaining ground now, aren't they?
well,
no.
it's like a
Since the
stalemate.
press have
What do you
been,
think of this whistleblower in Pentagon?
yeah.
This,
So you know about the whistleblower caller and the Pentagon?
Yeah. We have some, what is it, special forces troops. There's about 50 UK, 17 Latvians,
Yeah, well,
5 French, and like 2 Americans, I think.
no, but well, the people have been killed, but is
No, we've got special forces on the ground. That's what it was.
Oh
saying.
yeah, but yeah, do you hear about the whistleblower in the Pentagon? That I think it's the Pentagon where he's released lots of intel about the
He was
deaths,
arrested, wasn't he?
etc. Yeah, he just got nicked
and,
in
and
America.
it's strange. He's got nicked, and now the press are actually sort of reporting on similar sort of figures. Now.
Well, there was CNN helicopter above his house. when they were-
What they're saying is that Putin could actually have got a victory.
Yeah, but this chap said there was 70,000 Ukrainian deaths and 17 Russian, and this is supposed to be direct from American intelligence.
But now we've got.
Oh, really?
Finland and
I
NATO
have
as
to
well.
say that either way, it's bad does. I mean, the very fact that people are getting killed over some stupid bet like this is just not good.
Yeah, I mean, like I said to that Ukrainian speaker's corner last weekend, it's dystopian. There's European men dropping fucking grenades on people's heads. And he goes, yeah, with drones, with fucking drones.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that'll make it all right, then, won't it? Yeah, it's
And
not
he's like,
personal
people
now, is
going
it? It's
war.
flown
They're
in.
going, you fucking idiot, you are. Much of a Ukrainian, you cunt.
So
What do you
anyway,
think about actually like Russia though? Do you think they should do it? Do you think they should like take all of it, or do you think they should keep the parts that they already have, or like what's the end game?
I'm
Is what I'm asking
no
you.
fan of Russia.
Isn't it just because he wants it back just to stop them from joining NATO?
There used to be this massive amount of ground that went around Russia,
Like no man's land type thing.
which was it was agreed that there was no NATO in it, and Russia be the other side of it, and it was going to be no man's land.
Is it
Anyway,
Crimea that translates as borderland? I think it's either. Yeah, I think that's true.
I don't know.
So basically, it was an area that's supposed
years
to
ago, 1963, 62, I think it was, we had the Cuban Missile Crisis, right? And the argument from the Russians were, you've encircled us with weapons for this long, and now we've just put them 90 miles off your border, and you have a problem with this. What's your fucking problem? You've encircled us. And the Americans generally were just obnoxious cunts and going, well, we can't get around where we don't like this. Truth of it is, I'm no great fan of Russia. Right. However,
no, neither am I.
I believe that if you've been encircled with weapons all your life, right, and you've had the sword of Damocles over your head, you've got every right to look after your better interest. And incidentally, if there's people that speak Russian, put it this way, if we had English-speaking people in England, the English-speaking people in Wales got fucking massacred, we'd have something to say about it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Another thing you mentioned then about the bases being surrounded. So if I'm at my facts, if I remember right, the numbers in my head says 500 US bases in the world and 12 Russian bases in the world.
Also,
I'm going to give you some really interesting conspiracy theory stuff here.
Well, imagine if they did a deal with Ireland and all of a sudden there was military bases in Ireland on the border of Northern Ireland or something like that. Everyone in this country would lose their shit.
Yeah, of course it would.
So it's so this is again, it's one of those things where you just can't break through to people because they're just watching the TV.
Yeah.
So
and they're being told this is the
since the Second
What
World War.
reason?
Right?
If you don't mind me asking, why would NATO invade Russia?
Just
well, what are NATO?
Oil.
Well, they're apparently a defensive bloc.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's
apparently,
They haven't been that
you
for a
said
while.
apparently, not me.
It's about stirring the pot, isn't it? Get as close as they can.
Well, I'm going to give you a really useless conspiracy theory here. Right, since the Second World War, the Americans have been involved in coup d'etats, election riggings, and other such things.
Allegedly,
like
by the way.
And regime changes. They've had, I believe it was about, we'll say 95.
Wow. Yeah.
Right. Worldwide. And the Russians have had a 4.5. Right. But the Russians are the bad guys. Yeah. I know.
Yeah, I don't agree. I don't agree that America's done some fucked up shit with like Pinochet and all that.
Well, we
Chilean
did some
dictators.
fucked up shit with Pinochet, actually. We backed him, didn't we?
Yeah, we put him in power and then he dropped people out of
Well,
helicopters.
it
didn't
seemed
they?
like a really good idea at the time, in the same way that
Helicopter rides.
like arsenic seemed a really good idea in hell. But
Well, yeah.
the truth of the matter is that our political leaders follow globalists, and globalists give them the ideas.
What do you mean by globalist exactly? I'm still a bit fuzzy on the idea of that. I don't quite understand. What is globalism
What do
in
you?
general?
Well, no, I tell you what, you don't sound like a stupid bloke. So, what do you think it is?
I'm honestly not too sure. I'm a bit on the fence. I wouldn't consider myself leaning left or right.
Okay.
Because kind of in the center. But I'm not. I'm honestly. I would want your opinion.
We can all have a stab at it, can't we?
Well, no, but this man has to shape it for himself. What do you think that the terminology globalism means? Right, you've been educated enough to talk highly and with some great points on what we've been talking about, but yet you don't know what globalism is. Come on, you do.
If I was just to have like a stab at it, just a shot in the dark, it would be like I don't know, things like international trade, just making everyone like come together as all like a. I don't know how to explain it. Like a one big interconnected. We're all interconnected. Yeah, that's what I'd like to say.
Right.
Well, yeah,
sounds good, doesn't it?
It's very easy to make it sound nice. Yeah, globalism. You know, we'll just come together and
15-minute cities sounds lovely.
For me, it's just
less pollution, by the way, chaps.
One central government just dictating everything.
No sovereignty, nothing.
But you've got to persuade a country that's patriotic and proud of its heritage and its culture
not that.
to hate itself, and you can do that over a very long period of time.
And they're doing it.
And they have been
non-stop propaganda. And also, you can vilify a nation because how long was? I mean, Russia. There was a period, wasn't there, where like if you go back to the 60s and 70s, all the Bond movies, you know, the Russia was a bad guy, and then there was a period where sort of round about the time that towards the end of the Soviet, where they sort of laid off Russia a little bit, but then since I don't know for the last 15 years, it's just been all out Russia bad. And don't get me wrong.
Russia quite bad.
Yeah.
You know.
They all work together, don't they? You've not just got the media, you've got the film studios and everything else, and all they've got to do is if there's a narrative that people want to push, like you're saying back then, it was kind of Russia's the bad guy.
You watch
in the
John
Bond
Wick,
films
anything
and all
like that. It's
stuff.
always Russians. Now.
Yeah, and all they've got to do is start. They've got films coming out, and somebody goes, "Oh, right, this is the new flavour of the month." It used to be, it was Russians that were going to be our bad guys, but we're going to change the script a bit and turn it into they're not going to be Russians anymore. They're going to be, I don't know, fucking Chinese or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you know
In
what I
10
mean?
years' time, there'll be Ukrainians will be the bad guys
Yeah.
because they'll be going after all the Ukrainians that have got all these weapons.
Yeah.
Talking about Ukraine, when you see the state of Ukraine, how fucked it is.
Oh yeah, it's a mess.
It's you're worried to see if people are going to move back there, because you certainly wouldn't for the first 5-10 years of your life, would you? You wouldn't want to. You wouldn't want to move back because it's fucked. The whole country, all that, their postcodes.
Oh yeah, reduce the rubble. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a rubble basically, and you see that it's not just Bakhmut or whatever you want to call it, or Solidar or whatever. There's a lot of the southeast is fucked. And why would you go back to that fucked place then after that? I'll tell you what, I wouldn't.
I can see that. Yeah. I mean, I don't think. I mean, what happens if they take over the whole country? Do you think they'll be less dangerous? Do you think they'll just stop there, or do you think they'll carry on?
Or Russia.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know what their plan is. But no one's bigging up the Russians. But when you've got to big up the Ukrainians instead of the Russians, and they're both, like you said, the most corrupt countries. Well, they are the two most corrupt countries in Europe. And when you look into it a bit, you find out how backward Ukraine is in the way that a lot of the people think. Sad to say, man, that's just the way it is.
But do you think that gives Russia the right to go in and just fucking take over and kill them?
Well, here's the thing.
That's the point.
I'm going to ask you a question as an educated man, right? Russia's been asking the UN and other areas, can you sort this out? Because these people who are Russian speaking have been persecuted over a long period of time, and he's been asking for about 10 years, maybe longer. Yeah, something like that, right? And our communities, because there was money being made elsewhere, didn't say anything, weren't caring, right? So nobody did anything about it. But still, yet every year, the persecution against the Russian-speaking people within Ukraine was happening. And incidentally, the people that were doing it also had Nazi flags. It was awkward, but never mind. Right. So this is happening, right? And nothing has been said. Anyway, all of a sudden, Ukraine becomes a thing, right? And everybody gets on board with it, right? All the people that were murdered before, nobody bats an eyelid about. Now, obviously, if you're a humanitarian person, you would say, what's going on here? How many people have been murdered and by what sides have been murdered and why? What was the reasoning? Because we all would go in with an equilibrium way of looking at things and going, right, I don't want to favor Russia over Ukraine. I want to know what's happened here and I want to know the reasons for it. And then after that, I can make an educated decision. You would think that, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So when we actually extract the truth from it and find out that all these innocent people have been murdered simply for the fact that they weren't of the right ilk and they were Russian speaking, right? And they wanted to belong to Russia, yet live in Ukraine. And that was their reason for being persecuted. That is indeed persecution to the point of, there's a word for it. I can't think. It begins with J, doesn't it?
Yeah, or G.
Well, that's a dyslexic's prerogative, mate. Genocide.
Genocide, yeah. I thought you were going to say that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so that's the problem we're dealing with here, right? Now, rather than take this to a political war, which is what's been done, I would rather have stopped it ever happening in the first place. Now, there's many people that would like to use this for their own gains. The left and the right, by the way, would love to use this for their own gains, but personally, I wish it never happened. However, it has happened, and we have to look at this in the same way you have to look at all the things that have gone on lately in the past over the last 4 years, and look at the history of where it's pronounced, where it's brought out, who brought it out, who pushed it, and then who dropped it. This Ukrainian stuff will be dropped in the next year. And then
Why do you think they will come to like a peace deal or something?
No. All of a sudden, it just won't be in your news.
Fizzle out news-wise.
Ah, right.
Like everything
Okay.
else.
Like COVID.
Like every big story that, well, I say big in inverted commas because really.
And that's the shame of it all, because everybody would have lost billions. The gas companies would have made millions. The electric companies would have made millions, and everybody else has made millions. The oil company made millions. Everybody's made huge sums of cash. The people that made no money out of it would have been the indigenous Ukrainians who were on the wrong side and the right side. They'd have just got fucked in the ass. And then at some point, what we'll do is we'll then send aid to Ukraine to rebuild it. Do you know what that'll mean?
Sorry, say that last bit again. You broke up there.
I said we'll send aid to Ukraine to rebuild it, like we send aid to all these companies. Do you know what? Actually, all over the world. Do you know what that means when they send aid?
Raping the fucking place.
Well, there's a lot of things, but what it does is we put our companies in there tendering for the contracts.
But you got to rebuild it, but it's got to be destroyed before
The rebuilding of the place ends up making that country more skinned. And the globalists put the contractors in there. They supply everything to it. They rebuild it, and they make the money out of it.
Yeah.
And the poor locals of that area, the Ukrainians and the Russians on the border and whatever, they shit out. Well, that's how it's got to be. And that's how it happens every time. Because I looked into Africa, I looked into India, I looked into all these other little Ponzi wars.
10 cents. Oh, yeah. Looking at 10 cents as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think even Blackpool got shares in 10%. You know, it's like.
It's either that way round or the other way, but it's hard to tell.
Anyway, we've still got a caller, so.
Sorry, caller.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
that's fine. That's fine.
what do you reckon is going to happen there then? What do you think?
Yeah, it will probably end up like Afghanistan, like where you see all the US companies just get put in there.
Two big globalist countries go through it, get fucking rinsed out by a bunch of people in caves.
That was quite funny, to be fair.
Yeah. It's impressive, isn't it? How a third world bunch of people that can ride horseback can actually beat two globalist countries. I am impressed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was, and the Palau was just.
And the only cunt that could beat him was Rambo.
Hollywood.
No, he was with them. He was against the Russians.
Well, in the end, he was after he picked up that sheep and took it from point A to point B.
A goat. It was a goat.
Was it a goat?
Yeah, it was this. Then
Fuck me, I know nothing. Anyway, it's true.
And he was working with the Mujahideen.
Mujahideen.
Yeah.
Really?
This was in Rambo 3. No,
Yeah,
Rambo
I tell you,
You know what day it was released? Sounds like you know a lot about it.
it wasn't a bad film, but at the end of the day, yeah, it was total shit. And yet again, the Russians were the bad guys. And if you look through our cinematography, right, I won't be able to say that again, by the way. But if you look through it, the Russians were, during the Cold War, built to be the bad guys. Now, interesting thing about Russia, right?
Yeah.
We, during the Berlin thing, we tunneled in under all their cables and listened, but we had a spy. Well, they had a spy that really sold out just about everybody in America. And the Russians knew that we were spying on them, so they just didn't send out anything naughty through these wires. And they had to wait for about a year and a bit before they could actually flood the tunnels and then unflood the tunnels and say that what the Americans had done to us. But yeah, the Cold War, there was as many people within, say, for instance, America, that wanted to sell out America and give equilibrium to the Russians because they didn't want one side having autonomy over the other. And there was the same with the other side. So, yeah, millions and millions, well, we'll call it billions, was spent and nobody won. And all it did was bankrupt two countries.
So we're still coming back to the original The main plan is money and power, control.
Well, it's basically to take
eventually
everybody who lives in that country and make sure they're debt slaves. Yeah, pretty much.
Be a very good consumer of the goods you don't fucking need.
Take your Soma and buy some new shit.
Yeah.
Well, it's better than saying take your Stormer.
What do you think about the nukes being placed in Belarus?
Have you passed out, Based?
Sorry, we've got
You lying little fuck.
We got a man down.
He's resting my eyes.
Cunt's asleep on the sofa when we shouted it. Fucking unbelievable.
So what's
I can see that.
So is there going to be another country that's the next one, or is it going to be the thing? Obviously, the climate change. What's the next enemy after Ukraine?
Well, the enemy is going to be the people.
The people that,
Of course, us.
Opposed. Well, yeah, I feel like we've been the enemy for a while.
Yeah, we have.
Well, if you think the fear upon climate change was big now, you wait. Just started.
Hang on, just because he's Welsh doesn't mean he's counting sheep.
Get aroused.
So well, he's on to get into character.
Anyway, have you heard what you want to hear?
Yeah. I'll let someone else jump on. Yeah.
No worries, mate. Well, you take it steady.
Yeah, you too, mate.
See you later.
Bye.
Somebody mentioned in there that it won't be long before Zelensky either disappears or he's found dead. And
He does suicide
He
himself.
doesn't make it much longer now.
No, well, I mean, at the end of the day, he's done. He'd have done his job, and that is to
Perform the
help.
function.
Yeah, and when they don't need him anymore, they need to. They need to make.
They'll go back to theatre.
Potentially need to make Russia look even worse and make him look good. If he dies, then he's died a hero in the eyes of some people, isn't he?
Right. This is cool. Hello. Hello.
I'm Saul.
Hello.
Who's Saul?
Saul Goodman.
Oh, Saul. Hello, mate. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good stuff.
Let me turn this other thing down. I can hear you properly. Yeah, I'm trying to listen over the phone, but over the tablet at the same time as on the call. So, listen, man, I'm getting a bit heated about this thing about Ukraine, right? Because I heard there was some what do they call it now? What's it? Beheading, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's nothing new about this, There's nothing new about this in warfare. Okay. All this whinging. What? What is it? Why are you whinging? You're sending all these weapons over there, right? I mean, you've got to understand the gravity of the situation.
How many Christians go around beheading people?
Listen, dude, they've done it in other ways, right? Think about the Crusades. Come on, don't try and whitewash it.
No, I know the French did a lot of it, but at the end of the day, the average
21st century and all this. I don't want to hear that. All I'm saying to you is that all we hear about is they beheaded some guy. What about the guys 4 or 5 months ago? Right, they were all laid out there on their fronts, right? Russian soldiers all shot in the back of the head.
Yeah, well,
okay.
That's normal in shit war, isn't it?
Where was the outrage over that? And they're talking about beheading. Listen, dude, they got shovels. That's what they said. They're fighting with shovels, right?
It won't be outraged though.
This is brutal. This is brutal.
The story that's being.
What do you mean it's happening to the Russians?
Do you know, there wouldn't be that much outrage if it was British soldiers.
My point was, you just said that there was Russians laid on the floor and they're being shot in the head. My point, and I'm not arguing with you, but my point is the story that's being sown is that Russia are the bad guys, and poor Ukraine, and all this, that, and the other. And therefore, when something like that is shared, all the sympathy is going to go to Ukraine, and everybody's going to think, "Oh, Russia are the bastards." Do you know what I mean? But it doesn't necessarily mean. I mean, let's face it. Everything. Look how much has been faked over the last few years. And I'm not saying that it is faked or not, but it's so easy to fake all this shit. So easy in order to get people to think a certain way.
I don't believe anything I fucking listen to or see.
You know, and that's not me. It's not me trying to, you know, trying to say you're wrong or anything like that. Because you know, we'll have these discussions.
Yeah, we're not even arguing the point with you. It's fucking
Is he
disgusting
honest
what's
still?
going on.
I mean, the whole thing is it's a shit show, right?
Yeah, of course.
Right. Well, at the end of the day, right, I seem to remember that we come like into this COVID thing. That was a bit of a like bluster over that. Listen, there was labs over there, right? 42 of them, £2 million a pop, $2 million
And the Russians
a pop,
destroyed
right?
most of
Very
them.
cheap, right? And yeah, they captured whatever, destroyed them or whatever. But the point is that there was 340,000 dead over in Russia of COVID, and they've got all those labs on the border. Are you telling me that there was going to some reason to hesitate or anything like this?
It's very difficult to believe any of the deaths, mind you, isn't it? You don't even know if they're high deaths or low deaths. 340,000 seems an awful lot for Russia, because the way I thought Russia was doing the numbers, they were putting them pretty low. They weren't recording them like Canada weren't. Just fucking.
Well, it worked out. That's what it's worked out. I mean, I've seen the figures myself. So, I mean, I mean, maybe perhaps I can bring out the charts, you know, but not tonight anyway. Not here. But my point is that
is that the
there was historically 340,000 dead in Russia of COVID.
Is that the figures, the original figures?
How many million people live in Russia?
These figures
About a year ago.
have come out since things have been looked at again. 'Cause even ours over here, the figures have changed massively from the original figures that were shared.
It's not as many as you think because the size of it.
Well, I think over here it's like 6%, isn't it?
What?
6% of the total. So, like, people that have died of COVID may have died of comorbidities, not just like COVID, right? And then I think over in America it's probably about 4 or 5%. So a lot of people, right, when they've gone into hospital, I mean, we're going off topic here, but I mean, when you go into hospital, right, perhaps you're not being tested for influenza or H1N1.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been dying of influenza, haven't they? So it's like you've got two pandemics going on at the same time, but one's kind of like being ignored. And then I think for about a year, almost a year, they stopped reporting on influenza for the World Health Organization. So I don't know.
No, you're right. They did. They stopped reporting on it completely.
I mean,
I think I posted
Fauci
something the other
that
day.
no one died of flu for 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right. Yeah. Okay, Fauci. All right. Yeah.
Anyway,
No, I think I
sorry,
posted
Saul, because
some-
we did go off your original point there, didn't we?
Well, yeah, I mean, as I say, historically, you know, Ukraine was Russian. Then you've got like the end of the Second World War, and a lot of those people are all mixed up over there. I mean, they've got this kind of like hick mentality, you know. This is our place, and we're going to do what we want, and we're going to push you around. And then that's what happened after Maidan. So I don't think that there's rational minds working at this right now, and especially now that we've got the Russians actually on the offensive. I mean, you don't know what they're going to do next, right? It's not American turf, it's European turf, and they've been there before. They've done this before. So I'm just saying to you now that I think probably Ukraine's going to get carved up on like in the middle. And they're good at it. And the Russians are good at it.
Well, didn't
All right.
Ukraine used to be part of the globalist, the Russian Federation, or whatever they call it?
But before that, there was the Polish-Lithuanian Empire, and Lithuania was enormous, and pretty much, I think everything that is now Ukraine was once in Lithuania. So that region, over you go.
It's
back
been
1,000
unstable
years.
for how long?
Yeah, it just keeps changing hands. And I saw Loafer put in comments there that apparently Kiev was, I don't know if this is true, I'm assuming Chicken Kiev was the capital of Russia for like over 300 years. Kiev.
Well, at least they have a proper name once.
So this is what I mean. Like, people say, no, it's Ukraine. And it's just like, okay, yeah, it is now. But Britain's lucky in a way because we're surrounded by water.
Not that lucky.
Not that lucky, mate. They can still fucking row a boat, can't they?
Our border is defined.
And there's a fucking tunnel.
Okay, but it's still
all right.
Back full of concrete. That's the job sorted.
Yeah, but that region there, yeah. I mean, even like I was in Poland with my missus, earlier in this year.
You know,
and-
the other,
well, I was just say we went through an archway into the city that's near where her family live, and it was about 100 miles away from the border of Germany. But that once upon a time was Germany. Those borders are they just keep ebb and flow.
Flip flop.
To coin it.
You're not allowed to say that either.
No.
Prejudice.
Is flip flop prejudice?
No,
Well,
you
it
can
is
be.
depending on what you
Okay,
say
so-
and how you mean.
I don't know.
So they flip flop all over the place to whatever
Yes,
suits.
they do. But anyway, yeah. So we've made that all really nice and clear.
Yeah,
as long as we rounded that one up perfectly.
well, like I said, anyway, I just think that there's a lot of, you know, irrational people, medieval, a lot of medieval behaviour going on.
Well, of course, it's irrational. It's war. Anybody that wants to get.
No,
involved
I'm
in
talking
war,
about the people that are trying to control this. The control's gone, hasn't it? I mean, they were supposed to be rational to begin with, right? Oh, we're going to handle it this way. But it's starting to unravel now. And it seems that, you know, even if, like I said to you before, I think that the country's going to get split in half. I don't think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be a total.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a total takeover, but I think that they will make some kind of a barrier, and then perhaps, I don't know, they might irradiate it. They might irradiate the place.
Some
you know?
bloke said, "Si, stop yawning. You've still got to drive home. This is my lounge.
If Putin was really
I haven't
smart,
got to go anywhere."
and he waited out until he's like defeated Ukraine, and then he just keeps Crimea or something like that, and doesn't like go right now. I want Finland, or now I want this or that.
Yeah.
Then he would have to go down as being fucking bang on.
Well, that's what the West is threatening that he's going to do, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
They
but
don't
you know,
fucking know.
again, Putin, he's not exactly. He's rational. That's the thing about Putin. I think he's rational, but he's a fucking psycho.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, you know, you shouldn't have poked him, man. You shouldn't.
No,
like I said, they should have listened to their concerns,
and
they shouldn't have come back with this like bullshit, you know, like ignoring them. And I think that there's going to be more to see.
Oh,
this is
you
not
got to
gonna
join,
stop.
or you shut up.
Yeah. And I tell
It's
you
not
as
going to
well,
stop.
I worked in,
you know, for at least another 5 or 6 months.
I worked with a lot of Eastern Europeans when I was a chef, and one of the things I heard a lot were like from guys from Lithuania and Estonia that they were Russian because their families were originally Russian, and I'd say, "But you're Lithuanian." I said, "No, I'm not. I am Russian." You know, so there's a lot of that in those areas that used to be the Soviet bloc. The people they consider themselves Russian, and they're going to be saying after this, they're going to be saying, "Right, well, Russia, come and liberate this part of Estonia, please, because we want to be Russia again."
Sorry, Brian. Someone called Brian just said that Russia are killing civilians. Now, I don't watch the news, and you know, so you clearly, you know, look into this stuff more than I do. But so maybe you'll be able to answer this. But if where's that news coming from that Russia are killing civilians? Is that coming from the mainstream media? Is that coming from your own research into who's being killed by who? Because again, looking back over, well, you don't even have to look back over the last few years. This has been going on for fucking decades. Yeah, you are fed a narrative, and unfortunately, now we can never know whether we're being told the truth or not, and we have to question everything until we can verify for ourselves what's true. And that's the sad reality of it. You know, we can't trust and go with what people tell us anymore. We literally have to question everything. And if somebody turns around and says to me, "Well, Russian are killing civilians," I would be, "Look, it's war." Right. Mm-hmm. So if Russia are doing it, the chances are Ukraine will be doing it as well.
Ah, right. Now that sounds more logical. You know, actually it's happening on both sides. Yeah. Now, when you say it like that, that's when everybody starts freaking out, saying, no, you know, fucking Russian this, fucking that. And they're even teaching the kids this in the schools. So never mind all about your cross-dressers and shit like this that's going on. All right. I mean, this is really powerful stuff, and it lasts. Racism, you know, when we look at this kind of racism that they're portraying and they're trying to, like, put into the kids' heads and stuff like this. I mean, as I say, you know, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on, right? But don't ever think, right, that they're a pushover, these Russians, because I'm telling you now, they're not going to stop until they get rid of those Nazis, right?
and it's going to get, like even in the aftermath, right? Even when it's all over, there's going to be loads of weapons lying around in Europe. Loads.
Well, they're already selling. Oh, Ukrainians are already selling them, aren't they?
Well, yeah, so they say, but they're trying to buy them as well. They're trying to buy them as well, aren't they? So Christ knows what's over there. I mean, like I say, it's just a powder keg, and even after, like I said, even if they negotiate some kind of like peace,
have you gayed out?
There's not going to be peace.
There's no peace way out of this. Someone's going to lose ultimately, and it's going to be the people. Ultimately, the people that ain't got.
He's ranted for 10 minutes and he sparked out. The dog's ready to go, but not him.
And it's not really Russia against Ukraine, is it? It's Russia
Yeah,
against
the full
America.
10 minutes of broadcasting
There's like
properly. And
40
he fucking grabbed
countries
out.
or so, isn't there?
But,
Something like that.
yeah, but it's all run by
You
America,
just have a kip over there,
Let's
son.
face it, they're the biggest power on that side. Because all the European countries are just fucking lapdogs to the Yanks.
Yeah.
Well, according to Macron, he wants something different, doesn't he? But I mean, he's already failed.
Right,
he's a failed
if you go to
state.
bed, I'll take your channel off.
Does anyone think Putin
Well, no, you ain't there,
would
right?
have been asked with Ukraine if it wasn't?
Well, no, it's
for
not. It's
the
not
fact
poke.
that NATO
It's just
wanted
like
to set up shop there, or do you think
Well,
that he was
no,
going to
where's
do?
base?
He was going to do this anyway.
We all realise that he's been pushed into it.
Yeah.
But the normies out there.
I know. This is why I asked the question.
I'll get him
I mean, are
back
people
up. Watch him.
looking at
He'll
this
be
and
there in a
saying,
second.
"Oh, he would have done this anyway," or are they looking at this and thinking, "Well, if a enemy force, so to speak, rocked up on our doorstep and set up shop, would we just sit back and not do?"
No, it's not
anything
our
about it?
doorstep, is it? It's not our doorstep,
It's
and this
not
is
our
like we're talking
doorstep.
about.
I'm talking
no,
about
but
if it was, if somebody rocked up and somebody said it earlier, if let's say Russia and China decided to annex fucking Ireland, what would we do as a country? We wouldn't sit there and go, "Oh, fuck it, okay." Of course, we'd
Off
get
you go,
pushed.
Ireland.
We'd get pushed into responding to that, into acting against it.
Push Wales in the way.
No, let's put it this way: if Ireland wanted to be aligned with Russia and with China, I mean, how would you feel about that?
Well, I wouldn't be. This is my point. I wouldn't be impressed. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be impressed with that right on our doorstep. And I know it's got to be on somebody's doorstep, but I wouldn't be impressed with it on the doorstep.
Why would you have a problem with that?
And
the traditional enemy, right next door to you.
Well, yeah.
Why on earth would you be upset about that?
But that's what I'm getting at. Come
on, lads, pull up.
Would Putin have would Putin have gone down this route of war or tried to take back Ukraine? Without having this.
Well,
NATO.
He told us for I think about 2 decades. Don't keep on poking me.
Mm-hmm.
Don't keep on poking me. You're getting closer and closer and closer. You're coming east and east and east, and you can look at the NATO map and you can see it from the 1990s to now.
Yeah,
and it's completely changed, and it's all gone east.
I just don't believe. I just don't believe it that any of this would have happened had it not been for NATO. Trying to
keep saying NATO is America.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah.
I agree.
I know what you mean. Yeah, it's called NATO in the
if they hadn't been trying to persuade,
And didn't Putin back in the day actually try to join NATO? Didn't he try to get Russia to join NATO? And they said no.
No, they didn't want it.
And that would have because they know what they're doing.
Yeah, big plan, eh?
Yeah,
big long plan.
And maybe it was a good idea to offer that at the first.
Well, but he was after it.
They don't want it.
And I think I heard that he was saying, but don't expect us to wait at the back of the queue, sort of thing. For the deals. Look, we're a massive deal. We've got lots of nuclear bombs, but we're happy to play ball with you guys and just set about basically working on peace. But they didn't want it. They don't want peace because it's not good for business, is it? There's a bit like the pharmaceuticals don't want you well, they want you sick.
Mm-hmm.
The guys that make the bombs, they want the war. It's that simple.
Make more bombs, like more medicine.
Yeah, I mean, none of us has really voted for it either, have we?
No,
sorry.
Consistently vote against it.
Brian, I don't think. Sorry. I don't think anybody has actually said that the pictures of bomb cities and apartment blocks in Ukraine are fake. My point is that you're seeing what people want you to see.
I think he's misunderstanding what proxy war means.
Explain.
I think somebody probably has a misunderstanding about that.
You're being fed what people want you to see.
The line.
and you're seeing it. Do you know what I mean? Again, there are plenty of outlets out there that are also sharing images of areas in Russia that have been fucked up as well. You know, so, but the problem is that's not being shared in the mainstream media, whereas clearly you're taking, by the sounds of it, most of your information from the MSM.
Yeah.
Anyway,
What, me?
sorry, no, not you. Who's having a pop in the chat.
Oh, the callers.
If all he can look at is Sky News, and there's something
I've missed
wrong
all
with
of this
BBC.
shit. That's why we need that TV fucking there so I can read the comment.
Brody said the caller's louder than the host.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Shut up.
That's
The
all right.
other thing,
It's
the
good
other
to get
thing,
loud.
right, is like this. What was his name now? The guy that went to see
That was
Elon
simple,
Musk
wasn't it?
from the BBC the other day.
Yeah.
That was a laugh, wasn't it?
That was a cracking interview. I've not seen all of it. I've only seen a couple of clips of it, but that was fucking
It's
brilliant.
just the Musk thing.
Yeah, just
That
beautiful.
was
It's just watching him get that guy squirming.
Ripped him a new arsehole.
But he done it so easily though,
He's
didn't
so
he?
polite.
Musk.
He's
Yeah.
so polite as well. He's just, why would you tangle with him in a battle of wits?
You've got to be so on your fucking game,
Fucking hell, I mean, that guy.
because he will tell you. He just rip
Yeah.
your bits.
And unless you are right and correct, and
Yeah.
you've got the truth on your side, don't go in there with
A
him.
bit like Peterson, really.
Yeah.
Peterson will rip you a bit.
Oh yeah,
Fucking arsehole
savage,
as well. Yeah.
savage, but with a nice tone.
He's the richest man in the fucking world for a reason, and it's because of what he's got up here. Not
He doesn't get NASA to pay him for fuck all for his rockets and shit. Anyway,
Yeah,
So
we can always be dubious about Musk.
And
can't
he
we?
did,
Yeah.
he did it all
Don't
without.
trust
Oh
him.
yeah, I think there's good reason to be as
And
well.
calm.
But
Calm.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that he's had enough subsidies from the government, and he's getting paid off.
Yeah,
hundreds,
yeah.
I think it's
He's
100
been-
million in it.
He's been allowed to
Every
get
rocket
on.
that goes up,
I'm not saying Musk
100
is
million.
a great guy essentially when it comes down to brass tacks, but if he can rip the BBC a new arsehole,
Oh, it's wonderful. That's what I mean. This is like you say, like
My enemy. What is it? My enemy's enemy is my friend.
Yeah, but like you can appreciate what some people are doing because they're helping your cause, but you don't have to 100% trust them.
No,
because at some stage down the line they're going to do something that's shitty to you. But when
Oh, I
Musk
think
does
you
something
can
like that,
certainly
love
see
it.
that in Musk.
Oh, yeah.
I think you can see that in Musk
Although
for sure.
didn't he recently come out and say, I think we need to back off of the AI? That was interesting because he's been all over AI.
Yeah.
But he did come out and said, I think maybe this is moving a bit fast,
It's just it's fucking scary. The thing with AI is it's got no emotion, obviously. So it's very.
That's why it got shut down because it was telling the truth and then fucked him.
Yeah, well,
freaked.
You think about if AI is let loose to make decisions, completely autonomous of humans, okay, based on reading and learning.
Who
out
programmed
stuff.
the AI? Yeah.
But there is no way that if an AI is not going to see maybe a child with a gun as not a real threat. It's a child with a gun. As a human being, for example, we'd see a child and we could probably talk
a toy gun or something?
Depend how they're
well,
dressed.
like I'm talking about like a proper child. I mean, a child might have got into their parents' room. No, we're talking about in America, for example, got in their parents' room, pulled out the gun. Oh, look at this! Something happens, the police turn up or whatever. It could be a million scenarios. But if this was being dealt with by AI, they'd see a threat and they'd neutralise that threat. Whereas a human being would need to
compassion,
and they've got that thought
rationale
process.
as well.
Yeah. So if you're like with this Neuralink thing that Musk is setting up, if AI can get to that point where it can override your emotions in order for you to do things, which it will be able to do at some point.
RoboCop, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. It will just give you that logical thinking. It'll give you that black and white view of things.
Yes.
And that is not what humans are about. That's not what humans can't function like that. We'll fuck up.
Yeah. There's also what's the Will Smith movie iRobot, where he's angry at the robots because it decided he had a slightly numerical chance of surviving
over him,
and he's like, no, save the little girl, and so it's the robots aren't going to be able to make that decision, but again, it's who's programming it.
Well, maybe that's why,
because it's going to go, hang on a minute, you're a conservative, right? We're going to let you die, and we're going to save the liberals.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
That's what the sort of decisions AI might be making.
And the other
if
thing
it's ever feasible, I kind of don't think it's actually possible.
What did you say about them, about who's programming them? That they're learning through data sets that are out there already, like millions, billions of data sets that are out there. And to be fair, it's taking lots and lots of different views. So it's not necessarily, I think it's not necessarily who's programming it, but what it's being programmed with, because over the past few years, everything has gone very gay.
yeah. Well, hugely gay or just
and well, no, I mean, I'm
absolutely
radical.
It's gone really fucking gay. It's awful.
It's just gone ridiculous. And if AI are using those things to learn
probably.
from, then it's
Now, I'm thinking a change.
Very big problem. Go on.
Oh, we've still got a caller.
We have.
Yep, right. So what I'm going to say is the same caller's been on for a long while. We're going to move on to the next caller, but I'm also thinking a change in direction tonight. So
is this where we're going to crash somebody else's stream or something?
I reckon.
I thought that was.
Yeah.
Good night, guys. Anyway,
have a good
All
one,
right,
mate.
So take it easy. Thanks
Nice
for
to talk to you.
the chat, man.
I'm going to see you later.
Cheers,
Take it steady, mate.
Stay safe.
Bye-bye. Right, let's turn that down. Right, no callers for a while.
I can't go live either. So I'm going live.
Right, what we need is some mischief. We need oh, wait a minute. Let's see if that's mischief. Evening, are you mischief?
Hello, guys. Not having it in the house.
Oh God.
What do you mean? I'm probably less pissed than you are.
Well, that's doubtable, mate. Any of your mates sunk their boats and moored it next to yours lately? Well, that's not, I'm not having it.
What are you being like that for?
No, Alan. Well, we need some mischief.
Is your friend with you this evening?
Oh no, that's not. No.
Oh.
You haven't got your friend, have you? He fucking has.
Right now.
No, I know you're on your boat, mate. But did
Is
you
your
remember the
friend-
person you made
How much
leave
of
the
a
boat?
contact is a fucking telepathy?
Right, the woman you made leave the boat before, is she there now?
Is she folk?
Oh, I'm here. I'm here, though.
Oh, okay.
Right, so you've turned gay.
No, I'm
Change your preference. That's okay. You're not judging.
No. I have taken in.
We backed out of that quite quickly.
We're all open-minded here.
Very shocking.
Duncan
Never
Taylor.
saw it myself. Hello, Duncan.
Gareth, actually.
So how did you meet Duncan?
No, Gareth and his boat sank in the cut just up the road from me.
It was his boat that sank.
Yes, it was his boat.
Do you want to tell us about it?
Yeah, go on, tell him about it. Go on.
Go on, tell us about it.
Hello. Hello, I'm from Yorkshire anyway, as you can tell.
So how really did the boat sink? Was it because it had a bit of rust in the hull that you dug into it and all of a sudden it pissed out?
It's a fucking insurance job. Can't be
It
honest.
wasn't no research job, though. I've been travelling over the last 6 months with a rusty bottom.
I've had a rusty bottom before, but to be honest, that was due to the food I'd had the night before. But
I got on all about a month ago. I started doing like a temporary repair to try and get me going again. The temporary repairs gave up on me about 8 miles down the road from this man. I've tried
so
flying.
you weren't insured, right? And they've lifted it out the canal and whatever it is, and you're parked literally next to him, dried up, aren't you?
No, I was. No, I wasn't insured. So we didn't have no insurance.
I was going to say, this is sounding like when you went, I was like, they haven't put him back in the water, have they? For fuck's sake! So, how is it exactly that? I mean, how thick is your hull usually, right? Before rust, what is it? 4-inch thick?
No, it's meant to be 6 millimeters or at least 10 millimeters.
Is that all it is?
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
You could punch a hole in that accidentally, couldn't you?
Yeah. 4 inches. You know how much that would cost?
No, not 4 inches. I said quarter.
Said 4 inches.
I thought you said 4 inches, to be honest.
I said 4 foot.
4
No,
foot, yeah,
anyway.
sorry, you did say 4 foot.
No, I did. I was pretty sure I meant that much. But yeah, it's a delicate fucking balance, isn't it? Anyway, so if that is the case, and it's only a smidge, right? The camera, where is it? There. If that's all it is, it doesn't take much to rot through, does it?
It takes being on the water for about 2 or 3 years without getting any maintenance done.
Now, I was led to believe it's between 2 and 5 years that you've got to black the bottom of the boat.
Yeah, basically every 2 to 3 years is recommended.
Fucking prick. How much did it cost to get the boat out of the water?
Oh, there we go.
Depends how fast you drive it at the bank.
About £300.
300 quid out of it, and then you've got to do all the labour yourself. Otherwise, everything else to blow all the crustacean and everything off the bottom and everything.
125 for steel. Welding cost about £4,000 to get repaired.
Fuck me up and down.
I'm a 30-foot boat.
Mind you, when you think about it, if you own a Range Rover, you pay that every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, there has to be pluses and pros for everything, doesn't there, right? I was thinking to myself, how much do I pay for all my vehicles, plus MOT, tax, insurance, and all the rest of it, and everything else? And then how much rent do I pay, and then council tax and all the rest of it? You're still in.
Yeah, I also I'm getting a bill from the Canal and River rescue people that had to come and refloat my boat for about 1,100 quid.
So 1,100 quid plus the damage, plus the repair. How much you down?
About 2 down. Well, no, it's gonna be a big bill. Obviously, it's gonna be about 4 or 5 grand. It's a total loss inside as well. Get all these refitting inside.
How high did the water come up in the boat?
It came all to the roof.
Oh.
To about a foot from the roof.
Evening
all
Paz.
the engine oil.
Is Paz here?
Yeah.
Into the cabin.
Evening Paz.
Evening Paz.
Evening, sir.
Evening. Yeah, it's
Well, I'm fucking shocked, to be honest, mate.
It's a nightmare. There's been a few great people, though. I've had a lot of donations, given loads of new clothes. Well, not new clothes, obviously. Clothes, pots and pans, bedding where the main one. I've got an air bed, front bed. Everything had to be ripped out, basically. Got a new boat, basically.
You touch that fucking plant, I'll kill you.
I'm gonna put it back on. There you go. Mine's still floating.
Is he at camera view there?
Yeah.
You don't want to see my place right now. I've been at work all fucking week. The place looks like a fucking sky.
That'd be all good.
That bloke could die an early death. I don't give a fuck how hard he is.
Someone's accused him of being in the biscuit.
But yeah, the mate that he was.
Go on, sorry, I am listening. The other guys are a bit
No,
distracted.
the mate that he was getting the boat off came up and ripped his boat out of him and told him he was fucking homeless today.
Ooh.
Sorry, start again.
I didn't have the funds. Yeah, I borrowed the funds off of that. He borrowed the funds for the boat off a mate. He's on benefits.
So let me get this right.
And this fucking prick came up, beat him up.
This is sounding really, really, really dramatic, right? So your mate was in a boat until last week when it sank due to reasons.
Till today.
No, it sank last week.
Well, no, it sank last week. He got lifted out, and
but the guy that flogged in the boat the week before it sank, right?
Yeah,
has come back and beat him up and said, "You don't have a boat because of reasons."
Yeah, you lent him the money. Is that right?
So, I'm lending money. No, we had a spare boat knocking about on the thing that nobody's paid rent on for a while. So the boat yard's gone, get on that.
So right, there just happened to be this spare boat kicking around.
Yeah,
and they chucked your mate in it.
Well, it's not exactly the best boat in the world.
What I'm trying to say is that this boat didn't have an owner.
Well, it hasn't been paid for in a while. So
so it's squatted on.
Yeah. So he's
so your
moved
mate
on to
squatted
that.
on it, right? And it sank on your mate when he was squatting.
Well, it's not sank. It's not sank. because
What I'm
it's not
saying
gone in
is the
water
water
yet.
went to the roof.
Oh, it's not. No, the boat that he was in the first place sank to the roof. Yeah, now I've got a second boat. Now he's on his second boat, which has got a hole in the floor, which he needs to fix before he goes back in. It's a fiberglass one, so it won't take too much.
Is
fixing.
your mate called Albert?
No, he's called Gareth.
Not
called Gareth. But currently, I'm like.
There
He's
are some people that just attract unluck.
Yeah, that's me.
Anyway, I think what we're going to do is wrap this up because some of us are hungry and some of us are tired, aren't we? You tired?
Oh,
you're tired.
Ah, a little bit tired. Yeah.
On we. Right, they look tired. I'm tired. I'm ill. I'm going to wrap this up and hope that Lucky
You better
Jim
not
there.
have that. I tell you what, Si, you better not have that bird flu because we're not having that.
It wouldn't matter if I did or not. I'd get over it. Fine.
No, because you'll spread it to everybody else, and then we'll all be locked up.
Fuck 'em. Right. I'm going to say thank you very much, and I'll speak to you all in a bit. Anyway, see you in a bit.
Cheers.